Happy Saturday. It is Saturday, right? October 8th. Oh my goodness. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me know if you can hear me. Six Son, Richard, Nick, K. Robinson, Real Rugged, Michael. What's going on, guys? Hope y'all are having a good weekend so far. Let me get my chat set up here. I am doing swell. We're going to go see a movie, but I think we're going to push it off till tomorrow. Trying to decide between Terrifier 2 and Amsterdam. Who's seen what? Let me know in the chat. Dan, good morning to you. Broke Ape, what's going on? Country Pride. Captain Billy. Clark says, Julie and I are driving home. Can't wait to get home and talk to you. Drive safe, Clark. No texting and driving. Stephen, I sent you a link if you want to join in. Check your Discord. Duke of Wall Street, what's going on? Thank you, Diamond Gal. Just Another Ape says, Terrifier 2, hands down. You know, I'm kind of pissed because every day I was like, we're going to go see Pearl. We're going to go see Pearl. And Pearl is only in the theaters. Can you believe it? Like 30 days already gone. So we missed our window. So what did we see recently? Damn it. What do we... Scarlett, what did we just go see? Man, my memory failing me on a Saturday night. We just went and saw a movie. I already forgot. But we were talking about Terrifier 2, or I'm looking at my movie tickets. Oh, Smile. Yes, Smile is what we just went and saw. Guys, if you are looking for a scary movie, Smile in the big screen is a must-see. Go late at night when it's dark. Go in a digital sound theater if you can, something that's going to thump the seats on the jump scenes. Can't say enough good things about Smile. Duke Wall Street says, I picked up another 3,000 APE shares on Friday. I did pick up some more on Friday too, $1.95. Oh, man. Can they just get this dilution over with, please? Or we get some good news in the stock market. Six Sun says, can we talk a little bit about GTII and Surge? Yeah, we can. We can talk about whatever stocks you want tonight. I have the GTII chart up here. There is GTII. I'm going to put it on the daily. And someone asked me in another chat if I was in GTII. I'm not in it. I sure wish I would have back at 60 cents or even $1. But I'm kind of watching how this one goes with the OTC pump. And clearly, you know, there's been people talking about GTII for a very long time. And then I don't know if Lou coming along is what kicked it off into overdrive, but the last week, 10 days, it's been on the move, got all the way up to $9. And a hell of a trade, right? If you got in early. But what I'm looking at now, just as an observer, and as you guys know, anything can happen on these, especially with OTC. But what I'm looking at just from technicals is the volume declining on the daily and the price struggling. So we do have green, but we're not seeing increasing daily candles, and we're seeing decreasing volume. So generally, I'm going to view that as a bearish signal, although some would call it consolidation. We'll know into next week, but I would be very cautious about this play at this time. And what I've been saying about GTII and some of these other plays is if you get in a position where you're green, get your original investment out, And then you're kind of playing scot-free on the house money. The other one, Surge, I don't know if I've looked at that one. I saw this other crazy one they were talking about, the one that's a fraction of a penny, 0.0001 cents. Let me look at Surge. $4.58 up to $6.10 volume. $201,000 traded on a sorry, my cable was blocking the free float. 8 million shares on a 12 million outstanding. So fairly low float stock. I'm guessing, based on what this chart is trying to do, is that this must have been, it's must have gone through several reverse splits, right? $172,500 back in 2009. I'm going to say what I always say on these plays: never underestimate retail's ability or willingness to move these stocks, but keep your expectations in check in reality versus what some of these YouTube channels are telling you. And as always on momentum plays, I'm not going to call them pump and dumps. Some people do. I'll call them a momentum trade. Nothing wrong with momentum trades. You've got to get in early, know when to get out, and keep an eye on both the volume and the price action. What I'm looking for typically, and if you go back, you can see 100 of these in the last couple of years. Once you see the price start coming down and the volume declining, that is usually your indicator that these plays are losing momentum, and you need to be very careful about trying to enter it. MotoGP says, can you explain what will happen with your APE shares when they are done with them? Thank you, life is good. When they are done with them, MotoGP, well, that is a good question. When are they going to be done with them? He's already done a couple things that I was not expecting. Some people would say that they were expecting it all along. But I was not expecting him to dilute so early. But now it is what it is, right? They announced the dilution. I'm going to reiterate and double down on what I've been saying for the past week or 10 days. If they put out a notice of dilution, I think that reasonably you should expect that he is selling them into the market or off the market, and the APE is being sold. Dilution is happening. I know there's many people that disagree with that, some vehemently, some that would say I'm a shill for daring to suggest that Adam Aaron would dilute at $2. Hey, what did he have to gain, really, if you think about it? He knew that if once he made the announcement, the price was going to come down. I can't really figure out a strategic reason to announce dilution unless you're actually diluting and you're required to announce it. So if I go back and look at December 2020 to January 2021, when they did that big dilution of AMC, 300 million shares, it took about 6 weeks. If I look at when he announced, when the prospectus hit for the new 425 million shares of APE, that's about 6 weeks from the time they did that to the November Q3 earnings. I'm just guessing. This is speculation. None of us know. There's no reports going on about how much dilution is being done. You'll know that either when they finish it or in the 10Q that is released, and they'll talk about it in the earnings call. So we'll all find out together. But I think that he's trying to get it done before the Q3 earnings, or for some other reason that he will let us know. And based on the price that it's selling at, he stands to raise enough money to pay off the 2023 and 2024 debt. So that gives them 2 years of breathing room. Not my preferred timing in a bear market for dilution to happen. I'm certainly not happy about it, but I think that is what is going on. And we'll find out. Like I said, for all the people that are hating on me on Twitter for saying that he's selling at this price, well, join in the live when they do the earnings and we'll find out together. And I will issue a formal I was wrong apology if no dilution has occurred. Will you, all the Twitter haters, come on here and apologize if he has been diluting for $2 a share? Nah, I doubt it. I doubt we'll see any of you on my channel anyways. I sure hope, like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I get to make the apology that no dilution's occurring until $10, $15 a share. But the reality is typically when these companies make a disclosure like that, it's because they have an intention to do something. Man, all the times in the past year when companies make disclosures and I tell them, you should take them at their word, and people, oh, Ryan Cohen would never sell. BBIG is not going to dilute. So-and-so is not going to get delisted. Look, guys, SEC filings happen because they're communicating something to you. So let's be reasonable and take them at their word. Even if we don't like it, it is what it is. Yeah, Lou is pumping RNVA. I'm reading DC's comment. Yes, RMVA is that ticker that is RMVA. Hey, if it's successful, Webull still showing 0.001, 0.0001. Someone is saying, I don't think Webull is even showing the correct price. Someone is saying it's now 0.0002. And the shares outstanding are 15 billion. For $100, what can you buy? 1 million shares, something like that. Just like Luna and Shib, we're going to have people starting to make videos. What if RNVA goes to $1? We'll all be billionaires. Peace Love says Adam Aaron was crazy for not selling when it was at $5. Yeah. Six Sun says, do I think Adam Aaron sold in the high prices? I think he started selling Six Sun the day that the filing hit. So what was it back then? $3 and change. And either the selling on the market or the selling off the market is driving the price down. And that combined with the bear market. So it is what it is. I'm not happy about it. But hopefully there'll be a rainbow at the end, right? Hey, Scarlett, if you're going to be talking, you need to come get on camera. Sorry, she's feeding the rabbits or something back there. Hopefully he has some good news announcement that like the debt paid off or they're buying some theaters from Cinegroup. Who knows what? I'm not gonna speculate. I'll just wait and see what he has in store for us. As I was telling one of my friends on Discord the other day, it better not be that he's just paying the electrical bill and the rent, right? That would be bad news. But for what, 400 million shares at $2 to $3 a share, that's, let's just conservatively say 800 million bucks, $1 billion, depending on what he gets for them, depending on what happens in the next 4 weeks on the price. Let's just say 800 million, more than enough to pay off the next 2 years' debt. Peace Love says there is a chance he's dangling shares out there at a higher price. There is a chance, but who's gonna pay that would be the question. I don't know, guys. The challenge, I will issue it to anyone to email me or send me a tweet with evidence of a secondary offering that happened where shares were sold at a premium to the current price. If you have evidence of a company that did a secondary offering and then successfully sold shares well above the current price in the market, send it to me so I can shout it to the rooftops. Otherwise, I think that this is just more hopium talk. It's nice to think it, but where's the evidence of this? I've never heard of that. Natsuka says, am I okay with APE being $2 and no dilution? I do not think, Natsuka, that there is no dilution going on. I think that the price is going down because of the dilution filing and the fact that dilution is happening, both. Someone asked me the other day, but what about the volume? The volume is not really showing that he's diluting. Well, he's not going to sell 100 million in one day. He's going to parcel them out, a few million per day. I think you can expect over 6 weeks. Can I make a commitment to kick him in the balls if he sells it for lower than $2? Here, I know a lot of people are worried about dilution, delisting on APE. Here's what I hope, that if they see that the price is getting drug down close to $1, that they take their foot off the gas. Nobody wants to see AMC get to $1. Ryan says, have the shorts covered? Someone in Twitter asked me yesterday. I didn't answer it because I never know if people are being serious or if they're just trolling. They said, I thought the shorts were going to cover when the price got low. AMC, if you add up AMC and APE together, we're about at the price or recent low from 3 months or so ago. Whenever, when was that? When AMC fell to $7 or so. Right back here on, it was in May. And we didn't see a lot of shorts closing or covering then, or if we did, they were reestablished with new short positions. Sorry, you can't see that on this is what I was looking at right here. The short interest really hasn't considerably changed. So I wish I had a good answer for you. What the hell are they waiting for? Are they waiting for a penny? Do they really think that the company's going out of business? Maybe some of them do. Maybe they're going to try and hold it all the way down. I hope they do. I hope they do. Really, what I want to see is the short interest growing, not the price to get so low that they feel like, oh, here's an easy out and lock in our gains. Old Doge, what's going on? Can I create a bot that deletes comments that begin with Lou said? Lou was right. I was watching Bigham's earlier today. Hopefully you guys caught his stream. I was laughing at all the comments. So Lou was right all along. Lou was right. CM says, did I discuss the second Gary Gensler interview with Jon Stewart? No, I was, who was I talking with? Massalorian or someone about what questions should we send Jon Stewart? What is the cost to borrow on AMC? That is a good question. Let me see if I can put that over here. Cost to borrow 25%, 24.5. Oh, DC said once. Lou said, here we go. Lou said once APE goes below $2, then the hedgies will start to cover. I mean, the APE short interest is pretty low. I know. Some of you are screaming at the screen at the YouTube. But Tony, Ortex is all self-reported. It's all fake data. It's so funny. Like, if the numbers match what you want it to say, people make videos about it. But if it doesn't match, it's all fake data. You guys got to pick a side. It's the best data we got. And if you don't like this data, we got official reports. Oh, but Tony, that's all self-reported too. All right. Then let's just not talk about any data. Let's just make up whatever we want. If that makes everyone feel better, we'll just make up numbers. Short interest on APE is 7.67%. CM says, no disrespect, but Froggy Stonks broke out a great theory how Adam Aaron's selling APE allows both the squeeze and hedgies to cover their short positions. Hey, I love his enthusiasm, CM. And out of a attempt to stay respectful, I will stop my commentary there. Supra 7 says, why not? We were trading at those levels pre-short attack. Let's just say, never say these data so we can upset our statistics professors like crazy. Broke ape. Stop listening to Lou. He says he's not an ape. Arthur, what's going on, my friend? It is funny how all these channels that, and I'm even seeing it on Twitter now, all these people that were so pro Adam Aaron, pro AMC, all of a sudden are like calling Adam Aaron out, saying again, stop buying AMC, stop buying APE. I don't know. What is it? Is it emotions? Is it the bear market weighing on people? Is it just people angry because their portfolio's down? I mean, I pretty much think no matter what stock you're holding right now, you're probably down in 2022. Proud Ma, what's going on? Charts, what am I drinking tonight? We are sipping on a little bit of the Woodford Reserve. We're about halfway into this bottle since we bought it a couple weeks ago. I did run by the store the other day and added, I bought another bottle of Irish whiskey. We're building up the Irish whiskey collection because I've been neglecting it for a few decades. I got a, what is it? Proper 12. I think one of y'all recommended that one to me. If we have any serious Irish whiskey drinkers, feel free to send over your recommendations. Did Alex get any more AMC and APE? I haven't talked to her recently, Mark, but as soon as we can get her back on, we can ask her. Did Adam Aaron sell his extra APE shares? I haven't seen any insider sales on AMC or APE, but let me see. Nothing coming up under APE. Pam, what's going on? Shadow Girl says, do I just drink whiskey? How about wine? We have wine every now and then, Shadow Girl. In fact, I just bought a bottle of I don't know, it was some French red wine that was on sale. Because the thought was we were going to cook some steaks this weekend, but we're still eating leftovers, so no steaks yet. We'll crack that. I usually like to have a bottle of wine with a good meal. I don't just like randomly sip on wine unless it's like summer and we're out on the deck having a chilled glass of white wine or something in the afternoon or evening. Gio, what's going on? As far as do I just drink whiskey? It varies. Usually, yes. MC, prosperity holding is the key to destroying everything in our way. Arthur says, how long from a sell of APE to the market before we get a filing stating it happened? So it is my belief, and I guess we can look this up while I'm sitting here, that they will not do a filing until either the prospectus, the secondary offering is done, or on the 10Q. So the next quarterly meeting. Come on. And how can we check that? Let's look at the filings that were done in 2021, the beginning of the year. Remember, they did 300 million shares. That finished in mid-January. You guys can help me. I don't want to get tied down looking through 100 filings while we're live streaming, but go look at the filings between December and January, December 2020 and January 2021. Look at the press releases. As I recall, they notified investors when they were done with selling all the shares, not like ongoing. You're not going to get a daily report on the APE. You'll either get a press release saying that they've completed the offering, or you'll get a press release that said they completed an offering and paid off the debt, or you'll get some sort of notification in the next quarterly meeting. What do I think about GTII? So I talked about that a few minutes ago. It was a great trade if you were in it early. Keep an eye out for those momentum trades. If you see people talking about them and you've got a little money that you want to wager on momentum trades, if you pick the right one and you listen with your investor hat on, not your clickbait hat on. I mean, I literally hear these guys still talking about it going to $1,000, some of them $7,000. I heard someone say a couple days ago, a YouTuber covering this. This is not going to $7,000, GTII. But if you got in at 60 cents or $1 or $2 and you got out at $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, hell of a trade. Hell of a trade. Right now I'm seeing the price consolidating on falling volume. For me, that is a caution flag. I would not be entering this trade at this point. I would not be doubling down or buying the dip at this point. That doesn't mean that I'm right. It could still run. You got to have volume and buying power come in on it though. And I'm seeing the volume declining. So for me, caution flag on GTII. Would a merger with AMC and another company like Disney force the shorts to cover? I mean, a merger would depend on who's taking over who and what the valuation of the stock would be. But let's just say, hypothetical, if AMC were to merge with somebody, and I don't have any indication that they are, but if a merger were to be announced and it valued AMC shares at $15 based on the merger valuation, then you could see the price immediately run up to that. And yes, there would be some short covering at that point. Would it cause all of them to go out? That depends on where they establish their short. GD games, yes, we did go over the Ortex on AMC and APE. It's around the cost to borrow on AMC was 25%. And the short interest, let me pull it back up. APE, short interest, 7.5%. AMC is at 18.8. And I would like any short interest, any short squeeze candidate that I'm looking at to be over 20%. So we're a little bit lower than I'd like it to see, than I'd like it to be. What do I think about RNVA, Victor Tate? Hey, it's got billions of shares out there, but hey, if enough of you guys figure out a way to go buy it, you can run it up from 0.0001 to who knows what. Look at SHIB and all of these little shit coins on the crypto markets. If enough people get in a play, of course you can change the price on it. Not the type of stock that I typically invest in. So I'll be watching and cheering you guys on from the sideline. What do I think about AVCT? It was a rumored buyout candidate, right? Did the buyout from Microsoft happen? I think people had said the date on that was supposed to be by the 6th. Nice run up from $1.90 to $7-8. That would have been a great time to get out and call it a day on that play. Then it got hammered with if I'm not mistaken, what was it? A dilution announcement. What happened? Remind me. At any rate, yeah, I would say that this play is done. Again, no problem playing momentum plays. You got to come at these with your momentum trader hat on, get in early and get the F out. Stop listening to people that are having you bag hold these little tiny nothing companies that have been pulled out of the grave, after they've fallen from these lofty prices down to pennies, and then someone decides to pump it. A lot of times I honestly think, I don't know who's starting it, but I honestly think that someone is picking these things up out of the dirt, buying them up cheap, and then putting a message out, and then they're all following someone, right? All of these the small YouTube channels are following somebody that is pumping these. And so then they all unwittingly get roped into pumping these plays. And the momentum behind that makes it run. And that's cool, as long as you recognize it for that. But these guys, I mean the unwitting participants, the other YouTube channels, they buy into these ridiculous price targets and start saying that, oh, this stock's going to $100. This stock's going to 1,000. That's just inexperience talking. And if you can capitalize on that, great. Get in while it's cheap and get out on the first good run up. And as soon as you see it start turning, get out and go on with your life and wait for the next one. Hit it and quit it, 1796 says. Yep. I've seen a lot. Okay, I've been looking at a couple of them. I forget. Maybe someone in the Discord can remind me. There were a couple. I think another one was ATXI. ATXI. That people are pumping these stocks have a reverse split that takes them from 23 cents to $5, let's say. And Ortex or whatever, for whatever reason, the short interest is not getting updated correctly when the reverse split happens. If you look at the short interest chart on these companies, either one of two things is happening. Either the short interest number is not being updated correctly, which is what I think. If you look at the short interest on ATXI, it goes from like 8% one day to 220% the next day. That does not happen. But YouTubers pick up on that and they start pumping out videos to you guys saying, you got to jump on ATXI. It's 200% short interest. What, I don't know why they're not showing the chart that like the day before or the week before it was 8% and not putting 2 and 2 together. Yes, the float got lowered, but I think that the charts are using the old the exchange reported short interest of 50 million, and all of a sudden the float gets dropped from 200 million to 20 million. Oh, it's 200% shorted now. No, I think the chart is just pulling some bad data. It's unfortunate, but I saw a couple of these last week where they were reverse splits, and all of a sudden overnight, the short interest jumped up to hundreds of percent, and people started pumping videos out on it. Be careful on those. Always do your own due diligence. At least these people say, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence. I want you to go look at the short interest history on these stocks, or ask the people pumping them, what was the short interest a week ago, 2 weeks ago? When did it jump to 200%? Why did it jump? And the other thing that happens is some of these stocks, we've seen it many, 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 many times. They got warrants. GTII has warrants. And a lot of times, I think, again, this is my opinion, big money holds these warrants. They put the word out to the grapevine, which then gets picked up by unwitting YouTubers to pump this stock, because the big money wants to get out of their warrants and they need you to run the price up so that they can sell those warrants. Warrants are a dilutive. I don't know why the GTII people are so excited about the warrants. For me, correct me if I'm wrong, for me, warrants are dilutive. You're going to exercise your warrant and add those shares into the float, which will decrease the short interest, which will take pressure off the shorts. I don't get why people are so excited on GTII about the warrants. Maybe one of y'all can explain it to me. But I've seen many plays in the last year where I've tried and warn people about the warrants, and they always say I'm shilling, or I'm a Debbie Downer, but then the price runs up and the warrants get exercised, or a dilution offering happens and the price plummets. So I don't know. I don't know how many times people need to be rug pulled before things start clicking to get in early and get out early, and then you don't get burned on these little come out of nowhere plays. Keith says the problem with some Americans, common sense is not there. Pam, not in GTII. Weren't you in it for a while, Pam? Broke Ape says, glad you said that. Warrants wasn't my strong suit, but I understand now. Yeah, warrants, you can think of them as call options with a 5-year time frame. They got a strike price, and if you own warrants, you can exchange them for shares. Once it's above the strike price, you will exercise your warrant and you'll get shares, which you'll then probably sell. So I don't know. Someone explain to me why the GTII people are so excited about warrants. Pam, that is why we call you Pam the Trader. Got in GTII and got out fast. Red Breast Irish Whiskey. Scott, that sounds, that name is intriguing. Texas Heat says GTII is great to day trade as long as you know what you're doing. When there's volume, there is a chance to scalp off profit. Yep. And I would be looking at it the same way, Texas Heat. I've been waking up watching GTII, and there are some little fluctuations in the daily volume that have been decent. You know, you could day trade it. Some of these daily fluctuations, if you got cojones of steel, have been pretty good, right? I'm talking same day, you know, in and out, buying on the dips. But who knows? Whoever knows when it's going to start out the day like this at 675, drop to 385. You just never know if it's going to rally or if it's going to go all the way back down to $2. If I was going to buy GTII and next week, I'd be looking to capitalize on another major dip and then just pray that it doesn't continue. Clark says, if a PE goes below $1, could it be listed on the stock market? Clark, if the price of, are you talking about the price of APE? Muskie Doge says, same thing happened with warrants when TBLT ran about 2 months ago. Yep. I picked up a lot of haters putting out warnings on TBLT, Muskie Doge. Not because I was bearish on it, just because I was trying to provide a little bit of counterbalance to the insane amount of hype. Just a bit of reality, like look at the filings, look at what's going on, be aware so you don't lose money and become a bag holder. And I got dragged on YouTube and probably Twitter for being the voice of reality on Tough Built. But I don't care, you know. I know that people are not going to always like what I say, just like that they're not happy me talking about dilution on APE right now. Oh well, we'll find out in a few weeks. Clark, it's my understanding that if the price of APE, and I have seen people say, oh, APE can't be delisted because it's a preferred share. I don't know. I don't know. The people that are saying that, what is their expertise with preferred shares being delisted? I would imagine that it's going to follow the same rules as any ticker listed on the NYSE. If it goes below $1 for 30 straight trading days, they'll get a delisting notice. All it's got to do is go above $1 for one of those days. It's got to be 30 days, 30 trading days below $1. They'll get a delisting notice. They have 10 days to, they being AMC, to say what their plan is to get it back above $1. So they can either submit a plan, or they can do a reverse split, or they could stop diluting. God forbid they're diluting it all the way down to below $1 for 30 days. That would be insanity. I do not think that would happen, but I've been wrong about a couple things, right? I've been wrong that AMC and APE would be at price parity by now. I've been wrong that Adam Aaron would not dilute this early. So could it go below $1? I guess it could. What happens to your money on a delisting, Kyle? It would just go to the OTC market. So you still have stock. Delisting just means it's not on NASDAQ or NYSE, depending on which ticker we're talking about. But typically, a delisting is not viewed favorably. It reduces liquidity for a stock, and people, investors, Wall Street know that. So if a delisting occurs, it's generally not good for the price of a stock. Most companies will do whatever they can to avoid a delisting. until the inevitable happens. And you've seen some of those. You've seen some of these tickers that other channels were pushing get delisted. Prometheus, I was looking at the Crown Royal, Prometheus, when we were scanning the whiskey aisle yesterday. Mark says, I still haven't gotten into Highcroft yet, but that's strictly out of laziness. Mark, I think you have plenty of time on Highcroft, so no rush. Even everyone says, hold heaven, sold APE or AMC. Do not invest if you're not willing to lose. I was okay to lose 20 grand, hoping to retire. Apparently, Adam Aaron took that away from me when he diluted APE, Keith says. Yeah, who was I listening to? I was listening to, I had some YouTube videos on autoplay, and Keenan Grace video came up in my autoplay. It was just cycling through. And I heard him talking about someone commenting on one of Trey's videos that they had invested all their retirement money on a short squeeze play called AMC. And they were pissed that they were down. And, you know, hey, look, I was not around in early 2021 or late 2020 talking about these plays. I came in after the first squeeze, turned on my camera in July because I was so angry at the misinformation and the clickbait going on as the price was coming down. So what I will say is what I've always said. You got to, and if you're stuck in it because you bought in high based on these guys telling you it was going to go way up, I'm going to say it is what it is at this point. But going forward with your next money, whatever money you're putting into plays, I don't care what play it is, create for yourself a portfolio of balanced risk. So I want your bulk of your portfolio to be in solid plays. Amazon, Costco, Floor & Decor. I'm naming off some of Steven's favorites. Tesla, if you want. It's still a little pricey right now in my book. Coca-Cola, Disney. Now let's take Disney off. It's going to come down. Anyways, you know where I'm going with that. And then have your fund money. Like, you know, the way I do it is allocate a percentage of my portfolio towards the speculative risky plays. And with that, you can bump your returns if you're wise. Get in and get out. You can bump your returns from an average 15, 20% boring mutual fund type return. If you play these other plays right, you can bump up to 100, 200 plus percent overall gains on your portfolio. If you are realistic about getting in and out of these plays, get in early, get out on a run up, and don't hold them too long. If you're stuck in a play now, okay, we're gonna get you through that. Right now, no one's being helped by a bear market. So this is where patience and not getting emotional comes in. And I'm seeing a lot of people lose their shit emotionally. And that's normal in a bear market. That's why most people sell at a loss and never come back. Happens in crypto. It happens in stocks. And, you know, I don't know what all companies you're invested in, but if you're invested in a company that you think is going to be here in 5 years, you're going to be fine when the market recovers. How long is it going to take for a recovery? I don't know. Look at 2020. It went down and then it shot the F up. Could that happen on the next time the Fed says, you know what, we've reconsidered and we're not going to keep raising rates? Or it might be, you know, that might be next month, or it might be a year from now when they say we've raised rates 4 more times and we're done. You know, all the economic indicators say we can let off the gas. That's when you'll see the market come up. Whatever the time frame is, I can't tell you. No one can tell you for sure. But when that day happens, you don't want to be out of the market. You want to have been buying into weakness and then ride that gravy train up. But that takes a lot of patience and emotional control and a willingness to see some shit go down, because none of us can time the bottom perfectly. Someone asked me on Twitter, well, why are you buying APE at $1.95 if you said it might go to $1.50? Because I'm not good enough to say where the bottom is. Maybe the bottom was $1.95. Maybe it's $1. I don't know. But I'm not spending all my money at $1.95. I always keep some on reserve. Texas Heat says what AMC needs is Hollywood making more movies that people want to see. Yeah, I've been kind of pissed the past couple months when I go in and watch all the previews. I'm like, well, that movie looks like it sucks. That one looks like it sucks. Oh, well, there's a good one. I'm looking forward to, in the next week or 10 days, Terrifier 2, Amsterdam, and Black Adam. And I don't know why why the press is saying Black Adam is not projected to do good. I don't know. What do you guys think? To me, the preview looks pretty good. And actually, I just saw for the first time the preview for Dungeons and Dragons. I had no idea what the movie was going to be. I just saw the preview when we were watching Smile. The previews were coming on. And the preview for Dungeons and Dragons, they finally revealed what it was. Dungeons and Dragons coming next year. It actually looked pretty good. I would have never thought that they would make a good movie about Dungeons and Dragons, but that one looked pretty good. Edward says, what did I miss? Did you say you're giving up on AMC? No, I didn't say that. Are there negative comments? I haven't even been reading the comments. I'm just talking facts. Sometimes people don't like that. Facts and patience. DevStat says Black Adam has a lot of pressure riding on it. Warner Brothers' last-ditch effort to save their DC movie projects. Adam Aaron did say Q3 would be quietish. Yeah, I looked at the numbers for Q3, Dan. It's not looking stellar. I'm talking like on Box Office Mojo. You can go look at the quarterly totals. It's down across all movies, across all theaters. It's not going to be a great quarter. I'm a professional. Scarlett and I did watch the preview for Bros. It does look entertaining, but not my type of movie. So, and then after I saw some of the press on it and what the lead was like insulting America, I don't know if I don't know anything about any of the actors in that movie, and maybe maybe I shouldn't be reading headlines, but based on the headline, I don't know if that's a type of guy that I want to support. He looked a little bit arrogant, telling me not to go see his movie. If you're straight, I don't want you to see my movie. All right. All righty then. Nick says, if APE shares are sold through Citi direct to hedge funds, can they be moved without hitting the exchange? That is my understanding, Nick. Yes. If you go read the prospectus, they have multiple ways they can sell the shares. They can sell them into the market. Citi can sell them direct to their own clients, or they can sell them directly through outside the market deals. I'd urge you to go read the prospectus and do your own due diligence. It's all covered in one paragraph. But my understanding is they can be sold without hitting the exchange or the volume. I would also view that, assuming that's happening to a certain extent, as taking away another way to take away buying pressure. Like if you wanted some APE and you were able to strike a deal either to cover shorts or to cover FTDs or just to load up, you could strike a deal outside the market and not affect the price. That's going to still have a negative pressure on the price because you're removing buying pressure that otherwise would have been observed in the market. So all of these things combined, whether they're selling them into the market or selling them off the market, it has a combined negative effect on the price until the dilution is done. Sufyan, you're welcome to come on. Absolutely, brother. Let me send you the link. Hang on one second. I'm going to send it to you on Discord, Sufyan. While I'm here, I'm going to send it to Alex too. Let's see if Alex is awake. Steven says, oh no, John O'Connor says, hoping for another blowout from Avatar 2 in Q4. It is late in Q4, unfortunately. But we will get some carryover into Q1, which is good because Q1 is usually a little bit slow too. Dan says, at the end of the day, it's a buyer's market. Your future self will buy you a beer. Yep. I was watching a guy, an old school trader. You guys may have seen this clip also. And he was saying, I tell my clients, you know, when it's time to buy, you're not going to want to buy. I want you guys to hear that again and think about it. When it's time to buy, you're going to not want to buy. And I'm talking any stock in a bear market. It's going to feel so depressing and dismal that you're going, everything, every outlet, every media is going to be telling you it's done. The market's done. We're going to be in a recession forever. When every fiber of your being is screaming, don't buy, sell everything, get the fuck out, that's when you want to buy. And I'm not talking any one specific stock. We could be talking the SPY index for all I care. Someone was just asking about you. I joined in at the very end of Massalorian's live stream the other night, and someone said, what happened to Liz? All right, Sufyan, wave in the sky if you're ready to come on. There he is. What's up, Sufyan?
Hey, how's it going, Tony?
Good. Let me turn down my volume. All right. Can you say something again, and let me make sure the folks can hear you.
Hey.
All right. Can y'all hear him okay? How's your weekend going, Sufyan?
Good, good. Yeah, I was listening to your live stream, so I was like, hey, why not just to come and say hi and talk about stocks and economics and financial statements if we have the chance.
All right, guys. Sufyan is a CPA. So if you have accounting, financial statement questions, he's a good resource. And feel free to throw some questions for Sufyan in the chat.
Of course.
Clark says we just let it all hang out after hours. Sufyan, do you have a drink, by the way?
I do.
What are we drinking
have a
tonight?
little Spanish wine.
All right. What kind? What kind of grape?
Let me.
A blend?
Oh, I have no idea. I just bought it. But I had a good ribeye with it, though.
There you go. We were going to go to, well, Scarlett went to the grocery store and I was going to go buy some ribeye and cook it. And then I remembered we had a bunch of leftover. We made chili seasoned chicken tacos last night and we still had a bunch left over. So I skipped shopping for the ribeye tonight.
You saw my picture on your Discord.
I did.
Yeah. How was it?
You're doing good on that keto. How's that working out for you?
So it was working well, but at some point I really wanted to improve my performance in like working out, so I felt like I needed some carbs. So I was just eating just enough carbs to have more energy, basically.
Yeah, I got no problem with carbs on a heavy lifting day. You know, one serving of good uh, whole wheat oats or brown, you know, whole grain pasta, brown rice on a heavy lifting day, before or after the workout, no problem.
How's your keto going so far?
Uh, it is going well, but because of my knee, and I'm going to turn your volume up and I'm going to turn my speakers down. Because of my knee injury, I've not been in the gym like I should.
Yeah.
So I'm not gaining weight, but I'm not losing weight either, and I still have some pounds to lose.
I remember
All right.
you were saying you lost, like at the beginning, you lost 10 pounds or something. The
Yeah.
beginning was pretty crazy, huh?
I'm still around that 10-pound loss, but I've probably got like 15 that I'd like to lose to really lean up. All right, let's get Steven in the chat too. What's up, Steven?
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Good.
What's up? Nice to see you guys.
Steven, also known as Just Another Ape, right?
That's
On
me.
the chat.
I'm just here for the movies.
All right. What have you seen lately? What are you recommending? And why is Black Adam not getting good press? Why are they saying it's going to be a flop?
Okay, so Pearl is amazing. Right now is the year for horror. If you're into horror movies like I am, Pearl is great. X, if you haven't seen that. I don't recommend bringing the family to this one, but Terrifier 2 is being hailed as one of the best horror films of all time. And
What?
I agree with that. Yeah, it's incredible. Incredibly gory though. So like I said, if you don't have a high tolerance for blood on screen, then don't see it. But I loved it, and horror fans love it. So I hope all this turns around. Now Black Adam, they're saying that, right? Low projections, but The Rock, don't bet against Dwayne Johnson. The guy, he has connections everywhere, and internationally, this movie's going to impress. And like I always say, AMC makes their money internationally, and they're looking at much bigger numbers overseas than domestic. So
That's Black Adam's a Marvel movie, right?
no, DC.
Oh, DC. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, not my area of expertise. I just go watch them. I don't keep up which one is in which franchise. But to me, it looks pretty entertaining. I've never really seen one of The Rock's movies that I didn't find myself laughing at a little bit. So I've always found him to be an entertaining actor.
Did you see Smile, Tony?
Yes.
How did you jump?
Yes. Scarlett said that was one of the scariest movies that she can remember in recent memory.
It's terrifying.
There were a couple times where I was like jumping in my seat, and at the silliest stuff, like they did a good job of the what we call the jump scare, where they crank up the volume and something pops out.
Yep.
Even if it was something silly like a phone ringing, like they build up the tension through the music and the filming. The director did a really, really, really good job, and I'm not easily impressed in horror movies.
They weren't just jump scares, just a jump scare, right? They were perfectly placed, and they were about every 10 minutes or so. So right when you think the tension's not there, they bring it back up. And I do recommend that.
I cannot recommend that movie enough. Go see Smile.
Yeah. On a date.
Yeah. On a date at night, like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night when it's good and dark. And in fact, Scarlett when we left the theater, it was closed. So it was empty. We were walking out, no employees, and the parking lot was dark. And she's like, "This is freaky." She was scared to walk to the car.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's a movie that sticks with you, and I highly recommend, if you guys haven't got it, the A-list pass. It's extremely worth it. You can watch Smile and Black Adam in the same day, and it's well worth the $20 in my opinion.
Gonna have to check it out. Is it Tony? Is it your favorite movie 2022?
I don't know if it's my favorite movie of 2022. It's the favorite. It's probably the best scary movie that I've seen this year.
That's because you haven't seen Terrifier 2 yet.
We did just watch Terrifier 1 on streaming, so we're prepped.
Oh, you know what you're in for then.
Yeah. I know it's going to be gory.
Yeah.
And last night we watched Hellraiser, the new one.
How was
which
it?
I was a big fan of the very first Hellraiser, and then they got kind of watered down. The streaming one, it was pretty good. Not as good as Smile, but not by a long stretch, and not as good as the original Hellraiser.
Right.
But tomorrow we're going to go see either Amsterdam or Terrifier 2. So you're saying go see Terrifier 2 first.
Yeah, assuming that Scarlett has a fun time with those types of movies, then
yeah,
she
does. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I love horror movies, and I never look away. But in Terrifier 2, I looked away. Like it's that intense.
Damn,
so, you did.
Yeah, yep. It's it's rated X for anyone who doesn't know. They say R special event, but it's truly unrated. So that's why I say that with stars.
Were you eating food when you were watching the movie? Was it?
It's just hard to watch.
Can you eat while you're watching it?
I saw Phil For Real made a film review on it, and he hit it on the head. But it's very unsettling, if you're into that type of horror. But this year, like I said, it's the year for horror. You got Halloween Ends, Prey on the Devil, which is going to be another exorcism movie, and there's another one, but Halloween Ends is getting a lot of press.
I'm kind of over the Halloween franchise. It's been how many times can they kill Jason?
Michael, yeah.
Sorry. Which one's Jason?
One. That's Friday the 13th.
All right. See, the two have blended together so much in my mind, and they've made so many of them. I'm not really looking forward to Halloween Ends.
How do you guys think this is going to help Q3 revenue?
Q3's done.
Q4, sorry.
I mean, well, there are a lot of popular titles. So Black Adam, Halloween Ends, Amsterdam, Smile, and Avatar 2 obviously is going to be the big one. Q4 will be better than Q3. We're not expecting great things from Q3. The numbers are already in.
I think it'll still be better than Q3 of last year.
So that's good.
Yeah, it'll still.
That's good.
Six Sun says, do you recommend sitting all the way in the back or in the front where there's no people? I hate sitting in the front, Six Sun. So in Smile, we were at the second to last row. It was a full row, and that did not take away from the experience. In fact, hearing all the other people either laugh or scream or jump kind of added to the experience. Everyone was enjoying getting scared together. So, and that's part of the good thing about seeing a really scary movie on the big screen is hearing the audience reaction to it.
Yep, that movie, man. Go and see that movie, guys. It's well worth your time. I'm going to pull up the numbers and see what's going on those movies.
Someone said the reviews on Amsterdam have not been that good. I looked yesterday. I think I posted it in the Discord. I haven't checked today on the Rotten Tomatoes reviews on Amsterdam. It was not that good. Like 40%.
Really? It's that low, huh?
But there had only been 150 reviews at that point. It had just come out, so.
It's a little early. 6.2 out of 10 so far.
All right, so I think we'll do Terrifier 2 and then maybe Amsterdam during the week.
So the good thing about Smile, Tony, is that it's only 3.6 million in the red right now. So possibly by the end of the next week, it'll be in the green. So that's good for us. It was very cheap. It only cost 36 million, or the break even was 42 million So it's on its way to being green. Anytime a horror movie goes green, it's great. Great for us.
But I mean, green is what the studio is looking for, right? AMC makes money all along the way, don't they? Obviously, if it goes green, that means more people are seeing it.
Yep. Well, we get half of the ticket price, half of the ticket cost.
Can I take the kids to see Smile? Dan says.
No.
Man, I took my my son never let me live down when I took him to see the Will Smith movie. What was the one where he was in New York City when everyone got wiped out and there were zombies like hiding in the dark? It was, huh?
I Am Legend.
Yeah, I took him to see I Am Legend when he was little, and he still to this day asks me, "What were you thinking? Like, how could you do that to me?" Do not take your kids to see a scary movie. I had no idea. That was a scary movie, I Am Legend, especially if you were a little kid.
Yeah.
He was covering his eyes. I felt so bad. As a parent, I felt bad. That was like not a good parenting decision, but yeah, don't take your kids to see Smile.
No, it's not your run-of-the-mill horror movie, where you
It's
just
not like
laugh.
It's not like monsters, in Smile. It's all psychological jump scares, but they're going to get scared.
Yeah.
I got a question for me about PCRA retirement account. Sorry to cut you guys off, but
Yeah, go ahead, take it.
I mean, this could be beneficial if you have a good value or good knowledge of overall of the stock market and knowing the type of risks of mutual funds and ETF bonds, and if you can manipulate your portfolio at times, gives you the flexibility of being aggressive at some point of your investing career, being more defensive at some point instead of having to pay somebody to do it for yourself. So there you go.
Do you know what PCRA stands for?
It's a personal choice retirement account.
And who has access to PCRA accounts? Like I think we all know what a 401k is. You can look it up if you don't know. We all know what a 401k is. Who has access to those?
So what do you mean by who can? I mean, if you have a 401k, right? Or like if you have like a big institution that holds your money, I would assume that you can have this option to have a PCAR.
Anyone with a 401k, Six Sun says.
Yeah. It's literally having more flexibility in choosing your type of mutual funds at a point in time.
When I very first started with my company way back in the day, we had like 6 funds that we could choose from. Your standard bond fund, international fund, growth, the balanced fund. And then a few years in, maybe about 5-6 years in, people were complaining, hey, that's not enough choices. So then they gave us 100 different funds to choose from, which was a lot better, obviously.
And how did you evaluate those funds per your style?
Back then, and this was in the early 90s, 2000s, I had about 25% international, which never really did anything. But the theory back then was if there was a US based recession and you had international exposure, you could offset some of the losses in the US market with international exposure. But I had basically, by the time I left, all of my money in and I still do, aggressive growth type funds is what I invested in. That's not for everybody, right? This is more risky because you're investing in smaller caps or higher PE ratios. If you don't know what you're doing, get with a CPA or a financial advisor. And obviously you need to balance that based on your age and your risk tolerance. But I always go for high growth strategy. That's just the way I've always done it. And I think, I don't know. I think these days, the days of having international exposure is kind of like passe. This is a global economy. You're not going to avoid a U.S.
subsidiary or something like that. Yeah.
You're not going to avoid a U.S. recession by being in international funds.
For what? Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, because you're the economist expert here. But I truly believe that the U.S. is the first in the chain. So whatever, like let's say the U.S. gets in a recession, then there's gonna be a timing, a slight timing into like let's say it's gonna hit Canada after, and then after that Europe, and then after that. Would you agree with me?
Well, I mean, the U.S. is the big player on the block, but don't discount the fact of a hiccup in China or UK or Germany or any of those big European or Asian markets from putting a temporary dip into the overall stock market. Obviously, if the U.S. goes into a recession, everybody's going to feel it. But if it's these other countries, you're going to see some volatility even in the U.S. But then people will, if the U.S. is doing okay relative to these other countries that are struggling, you'll see some of that money leave those stock markets and come to the U.S. for flight to safety, as long as they think that we're still relatively immune or doing better.
Let's take a specific example right now. What's going on? Powell with the Fed. He's increasing the interest rates, right? So would you say that this has an effect globally?
Well, right now, I think that all the central bankers are mostly coordinating raising the interest rate. So us raising ours, there are other countries that have higher central bank rates than we do, but everybody's raising them. They're all facing, other countries have higher inflationary rates than we do also. So we're still seen as the flight to safety, which is why the dollar is doing relatively well compared to other currencies. So we can get away with raising rates as long as everybody else is doing it too.
Is it presumed, Tony, that they're going to raise rates in November and December?
Is it true that they're going to raise rates?
Or presumed? Like
Presumed at the moment, yes.
Yeah, because there's 2 more meetings.
Yeah, but I mean, if they are truly worried about the bond market instability, then there was that emergency meeting on Monday of last week. Don't think that they aren't talking about instability and maybe taking a pause. Although in independent press conferences and their little talks, they're still all saying the same message. Like we're not letting off the gas.
Would you say that Powell kind of have like the first like those other central banks or how can I say that they would adjust according Powell? I guess that's my question.
Say the question again.
So would you say that like the other like central banks, like European central banks, the African central banks, the South American central banks, Mexico, all these big central banks, would you say that they adjust to what Powell does?
I think that they are adjusting based on their own views on how to tame inflation that is occurring in their specific country.
And to my knowledge, their inflation is much higher than our country.
Yeah,
and
most of them
is higher.
Most of them it is. Yep.
So a little example. I was in Canada like 5 months ago, and I can notice just in Canada the differences in just a grocery bill compared to in the U.S. right now. I'm currently in Minneapolis, which is not the most expensive state, but I could noticeably see a big difference in ribeyes, milk, even gasoline. But I don't want to go into attention. But yeah, we're lucky in the U.S. with the inflation situation right now.
Six Son's got a question about capital gains.
Oh no!
I guess I missed the first part of his question. I guess the question is, when do you pay capital gains? If you're in the U.S., you pay it annually based on your gains or losses.
Depends, Tony. If you
Tell me.
if it's realized, right?
Right. Capital gains, assuming that you sell something, you have a realized gain or loss.
Yeah.
You're going to report it annually.
Yep. But so it has capital gains are divided in two tranches, right? Short-term capital gains and long-term capital gains. Long-term capital gains give you the best bracket of taxable income. Short-term capital gains gives you the least good bracket of taxable income. So long-term capital gains is when you hold a stock or ETF or bonds or an investment more than 1 year. So if you hold it for more than 1 year, then you're going to be taxed less than if you hold it 30, 64 days.
And there are other things that factor into capital gains, like if you own your own business or if you have real estate transactions. These are the things where if you have complexities, where it's good to get a tax advisor or a CPA to help you with your taxes. If it's simple, you can use TurboTax and download your statement from your broker, especially if you've done it before. But if this is your first time ever dealing with it, now is the time. You got a few months to start learning about it.
And if Tony, you had a tax, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
The due date, I believe, is coming up soon for taxes right now, right? 15th. So that I think that's for businesses, though, isn't it?
You're talking about for quarterly filings?
No. So there's a deadline going on right now. 10/15 in October 15.
Well, most people, for the basics, it's going to be the end of the year and then April 15th, right?
Yeah, but if you're extending, right? So yeah, if you're extending, then that's the never mind. That's
if you're filing for an extension off of last year's April 15th.
Yeah, never mind.
I always found it funny. My CPA, he's always filing extension. Like, why do you do that? He's like, well, if we did everything by April 15th, we wouldn't have any business the rest of the year.
Right.
CPAs want to file extensions so they can spread their work out.
Because they have so many clients, right? At the end of the day, they have so many clients, and they try to create issues to their clients saying, I think we can save you more money if we extend, and we got to find a solution. But at the end of the day,
doesn't get you off the hook for paying what you're estimated to owe by April 15th, but your actual filing might be later.
Yeah.
Tony,
but don't get me wrong. There's a lot of magicians out there.
There are. Some of them are worth their weight in gold. What's up, Steven?
I read an article today that said people in California are paying 70% more in gas.
Wow.
Than the rest of the country. So if you're in the chat, drop how much you're paying per gallon. I'm just curious to see all the different prices, especially if you're in California.
What about you in Vegas, Steven?
I'm seeing 570 to it's getting close to 6. It's getting close.
Wait, 3.89 in Minnesota.
Wow, have you ever looked at the Gas Buddy website or app, Steven?
I've heard of it. What's that?
It's a good app just to find the cheapest gas in your local area. And I don't recommend driving all over town just to save 5 cents, but sometimes you can drive half a mile and save a few pennies. Or sometimes in the app they have instant sales, or you can claim a coupon and also get a reduction in price. I prefer going to Costco, but sometimes if I'm on the other side of town,
I knew he was going to talk about Costco. I knew that.
I was just trying to get you over to Costco with that.
Yeah. But Gas Buddy, their website, they have charts where you can see the national average or by city with graphs going all the way back. So
Audio Frequency says $6.99 in Los Angeles. That's the highest
holy
in here.
shit.
Some
Yeah,
parts are over $7. I bet San Francisco's high.
I mean, California is so gorgeous, but geez.
Eugene says we missed the initial question about long term. Is it worth the cost to make money for short term capital gains versus holding long? Depends on the investment, I would say. I don't worry about taxes. Like if I'm day trading or I'm momentum trading something, I'm not going to hold something long if I think it's only going to run for a week. I'm going to sell it and pay short term.
Yep.
Wait, you're supposed to pay taxes on capital? I'm just kidding. I knew you'd like that, Sufjan. But on a real note, Tony, I don't know if there was another article that said that they're starting to crack down on crypto capital gains. Like there's politicians are starting to look into, because pretty much all the boom from 2021, people are looking at politicians.
Yeah.
Oh, there were a lot of people that thought crypto was tax free.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the purpose of digital currency now, right?
Yep.
You don't want to get into that because you talk about it on your other stream for 2 hours, but
man.
1796 says, my question is, should I start a LLC for stock trading? I think that's a personal decision, 1796. And it also depends on how many assets you have in your trading account. So I have a LLC trading account, and then I have some personal accounts also. But let's just say, pick a number. Let's say you had $100,000 to $1 million in your trading account, and you run your car through a red light because you're looking down at your phone and you kill or maim somebody. They're going to come after you for all of your assets. And an LLC, limited liability corp, will give you some legal separation between your personal assets and your LLC is a separate legal entity. So that is something to consider depending on how much you have in your account and how much insurance you have, liability insurance for different things. If you have a high dollar amount in an account, you might want to talk to a tax attorney or a CPA and see if that might make sense for you. Sufjan, do you have anything you want to add about that?
No, you're spot on. But I just saw Justin say, "How is AMC this low?" Well, everything is going down, my friend. We're basically in a bear market, I would say myself. So, am I still confident about this short squeeze? I like the improvement of the fundamentals and the balance sheets and the potential paying off of the debt. But saying that, pointing AMC just because they're going down, I mean, every other stocks are going down. So just in that case, I would advise to look at the S&P, the Dow Jones, and all these other indexes, and that will tell you that it's not just AMC that's going down, or the other main stocks like GME or
Amazon was at 118 in November. It's at 114 right now. So that's it was at 184, sorry, in November, at 114 right now. So what is that, like 40% loss on Amazon, one of the biggest companies out there. You could literally pick any stock. And someone on Twitter, I saw them today say, if you're listening to someone telling you that AMC is down because of the market, you need to stop listening to shills and trolls. Like,
Oh
guys,
my
wake
God.
up. What the fuck are you tweeting about saying nonsense like that? Could there be additional pressure on some stocks in a bear market because they're going to pile on? Absolutely. But everything is down because the market is down. And like I've said 1,000 times, this is basic stocks 101. Companies with a high PE ratio, which we are not, but like a Tesla, or companies that are not earning profits, which we are, will be brutalized even more than your average stock in a bear market. I know you were told by certain people that AMC is your hedge in a down market. I'm sorry, but companies that are losing money, that's not a flight to safety for institutions. It's
There's a
not a
there's
flight
a
to
ve-
safety.
there's a very famous quote by Warren Buffett. He says, I'm on speaker, but he says, it's only when the tide goes out that you learn who's been swimming naked.
Yep. That's the best, man.
And that's the best shit I've ever heard about the stock market. And if you've been over leveraged these past 6 or 7 or 8 months, I mean, you're probably I'm not gonna laugh, but you're probably suffering right now.
Yep.
And it's a lesson, right? Because in the bar, you're gonna. I mean, Tony, how many bear market have you lived? Probably 2 or 3.
Like 100 at least.
Yes, I mean, going all the way back to since the New York Stock Exchange started. I mean,
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like you're gonna get through it, but it's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
And the tide code just says it all. If
yeah,
you've been over leveraged with speculations plays, I'm sorry, but
if you are in all speculative short squeeze plays, you are feeling the pressure more than most right now because you held speculative plays all the way through a bear market. But when the tide turns, those plays will come back, assuming the companies are still solvent. And that's why I want you to have a risk balanced portfolio, not put all your money in speculative plays. But this was like, I can sit here calmly and unemotional through a bear market in stocks and equities because I know that eventually they rebound. I've seen it many, many times. No matter how dire it seems, that it always comes back. But I learned my lesson in crypto. You know, the last time we had a crypto winter, I did not have the confidence to buy crypto through that multi-year bear market. And then we saw what happened with crypto. So this time I'm going to continue to buy crypto through the doldrums and give it a chance. And the more institutional money I see going into crypto, the more I think that crypto will eventually come back too. But we need to get into a cycle where institutions are not going risk off. And right now they're going to risk off. Risk is high PE, no earnings companies.
and
Either
Tony,
or.
let me ask you this for the community so they can really understand, I think, from this question. How would you mitigate this risk?
I mean, how do you mitigate this risk? The only
risk-
way there is no mitigating it in hindsight. The only way to mitigate it is to have the foresight to know that the market's going to drop or your stock is going to drop 20, 40, 50, 70%. None of us have that crystal ball to know exactly how low things are going to go.
Yeah, but like I think you said it earlier, is to have a balanced portfolio
Okay.
with solid investment and also buying on the way down and then
And
buying on the way up, right?
have a long-term outlook on your investments.
5-year
Exactly.
outlook on everything.
Yes. Everything I buy, unless it's a speculative play, is typically, I'm planning on holding it from either 5 years minimum or till I die. So
And your first step is basically a good due diligence and looking at the balance sheets and financial statements and any news that could impact your idea on your investment, right? This particular investment.
When I'm looking at mutual funds, I'm looking at 10-year histories, and guess what those histories look like?
Yeah.
Up and down. Some years they lose money, some years they might lose 4% and then they'll make 40%. I mean, that is the freaking stock market. Get used to it. If you're just new to stocks since 2021, welcome.
Yep.
And hang on.
Now.
Well, there will be some green days ahead at some point, but you might have to wait longer than you thought.
Tony, it's been a shitty year, though, right? It
has been a fucking shitty year. Absolutely.
2021 December is when it turned. Right then, if you bought stock after that, that's when you were highly likely to be in the red.
Or if you bought between July and November, you're probably in the red.
Right.
Right.
You know, Tony, I met you on November 2021 because that was the first couple of days that the market was just crashing. And I was like, hey, who's this guy that is so cold-blooded on his live stream?
I'd rather be buying. I'm much more happy buying now as things are coming down. It's like literally if you walk into your favorite store and they have things marked off half off, are you going to say, fuck this, I'm leaving this store? Well, or are you going to buy twice as much because it's half off?
Well, Tony,
if you're buying the right companies, this is the opportunity of a lifetime.
You get rich right now.
Tony was buying in the 30s, so it's more of like 95% off at this point.
Yeah, I'd much rather buy on the way down than let that shit I was doing last year, buying as it ran up, from 20 to 40. And now that feels stupid. I'm much happier buying as it goes down now because I know, even though Twitter doesn't agree with me, that the stock is being punished because the market is going down. Every stock is being punished. So there are a lot of things, a lot of them that I have my eye on. Happy to buy them as it's going down.
From Justin Lever, I want to answer. It's what's a fair 5-year fundamental price on AMC in your opinion post squeeze? My answer may differ from the gentleman here in the live stream. I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but I think $40. $40. If you look really deeply into the company's history, fundamentally, assuming that they, get it going with their balance sheet, income statement, and everything, and you have a 5-year outlook, like what Tony was saying, I think $40 seems right when AMC's firing on all cylinders.
I'm going to say it depends on earnings and debt.
Yeah.
I don't talk about prices.
When I got 5 years, that's a lot of time, and I think overall the company is going to get better. And like Tony said thousands of times, bankruptcy is off the table, and Adam Aaron's not retiring anytime soon, which he confirmed in one of his tweets. So I'm optimistic.
I'm really hyped about that potentially paying off the debt.
Let's talk about that for a second, Sufyan, because you and I have these conversations a lot. Like, what is a fair valuation for AMC or any company? When I'm looking at all of these squeeze plays and momentum plays, someone says, what can it run to? And I'm looking at the 5-year chart for some of these no-name companies that have negative $21, in quarterly earnings. I'm like, there is no fair price for this company. This is a train wreck. Their annual revenues are going down and their negative earnings per share are increasing. There is no fair price.
Like
there's no fair price.
Basic runners, like what kind of one?
Yeah, the ones that people, this has got 300% short interest. It's going to $1,000.
Okay, wait. So look, guys, if there's 300% short interest, there's a reason why. And you got to know that. You got to know if you're going to go long on a stock and just gamble, you got to know, okay, why is this shorted? So then Tony, he finds out why. And then it's like, oh, it's because they have no money. you know, so you have to put that all those pieces together before you take a chance. Don't just take a chance because the stock twits.
That's why we call it a momentum play. You got to get in early on the momentum and then get the F out before everybody realizes it's going to dump in a week.
Tony, how many times, Tony, we've discussed about like, hey, let's analyze this company's financial statements, and we were like, all right, after 20 minutes, okay, it's gonna be a ride it, and let's just dump it, right? But you really have to do your own due diligence. But like, a company that has a lot of debt, that's a red flag. A company that has a negative retained earnings, that's a red flag. A company that has many quarterly negative earnings, that's a red flag.
If you see YouTube channels where the only thing they tell you for the reason to buy something is it's got high FTDs or high short interest, you should run the fuck away from that channel. Or at the very least, not listen to their price targets, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They might be good at calling out momentum trades, and if you catch it on the first day, you might be able to ride it for a couple days. But do not take price targets from these people, because they are not doing the proper analysis.
Yeah, and cost to borrow is extremely misleading. You know, you see 900% cost to borrow. Well, that number could have been accurate as a time of market open, but that doesn't mean that it's accurate as of 1 minute after the open. You know, those numbers are, you know what I'm trying to say, Tony.
But getting back to what I was going to say to Sufyan about the valuation for AMC, the reason I can't, it's hard for me to do a proper valuation. Right now, the valuation is only what people are willing to pay for it, because there is no real valuation for a company that has negative earnings and a $5 billion in debt. The valuation is shit.
But you can have a good idea of pre-pandemic, right?
Right, and
look
you
at
can look
pre-pandemic chart.
You can look back at 2018 and 2019 and make some assumptions, but then they muddy the waters by doing all these acquisitions and taking on all this debt, and that makes the analysis a little more complicated. So you have to make some assumptions. Are they going to pay off the debt in the next couple of years? Maybe, if they keep on diluting. And then what is the negative impacts of further dilution going to be versus how Wall Street is going to value them being debt-free or with almost no debt? That is a little bit of black magic, you know, put your hand in the hat. And, you know, this is where Wall Street professionals can do those calculations much more crisply than I can, you know, without spending a day doing a bunch of calculations on a spreadsheet.
Yep. And let me clarify, when I say 40, I mean the second part, which is firing on all cylinders, like what Sufyan's talking about, a healthy balance sheet, healthy partnerships, healthy mergers, people going to the movies. Like Tony said, 2019 levels of Hollywood pushing out movies. I'm talking about a full on, you know, company moving in the right direction. $30 to $40 seems fair, but I understand the criticism, because until it gets there, it is what it is, you know. So
Popcorn won't help. But
credit cards are the salvation of AMC, is what I'm told on Twitter.
Credit cards, they already have one with Disney Rewards that hasn't done anything for the most part.
Oh, come on, Steven. Don't be a Debbie Downer. I was told on Twitter that credit cards alone are going to save this company.
Dan Spencer says Disney could buy AMC twice over. Do you know how much Disney has on cash on hand? Nope. AMC is about 10 billion at least. Do you think it's worth it for a studio who already owns all their content to go into the exhibition game? It's highly unlikely that anyone will buy AMC. Highly unlikely. Or even put in an offer.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Like, would someone want to buy a company with $5 billion in debt? with negative earnings. I don't know. We're not quite buyout candidate yet.
Have you ever considered buying a company, Tony?
I have bought companies.
Oh, you buy companies, and so basically you've been doing the same exact process as due diligence, but in another manner. But you've been looking at their books, you've been looking at the market, you've been looking to make sure that this is a profitable, right, in the long term for yourself.
Yeah,
So,
my advice is don't try and do the analysis on your own. Get a CPA.
oh, so you didn't do it on your own, but
I did it on my own. It didn't work out so well. I misjudged some things. I had best case, middle case, and worst case scenarios, but I still missed some things. So bring professionals in if this is not your area of expertise, is what I'm saying.
all right.
But yes,
But in stocks, let me finish. In stocks, you feel confident that you feel confident about your due diligence, right?
I mean, as confident as I can. I'm not a Harvard Business School MBA with 20 years experience on Wall Street.
But you're Tony Denaro with 30 years of experience.
But I have spent a fair amount of time studying, reading books, going to college, and trading and looking at financial reports. So do I know more than the average person? Maybe.
Of course.
Am I, anyone on Wall Street could probably not, I'm not talking about a guy walking around under lampposts, but I'm talking about someone who this is their full-time job could absolutely run circles around me.
But what I'm saying that right now you have the ability of knowing from your experience, you can really be thoughtful about what you invest in and the manner you invested in it. If it's a pump and dump or if it's a long term, and that's very powerful. That's very powerful.
I'm pretty good at knowing what is a pump and dump and what is a reasonable price target versus pie in the sky, which is why we never talked about $500,000 or $1 million price targets on this channel, because I don't think that is realistic for this stock.
Would you say this is a powerful skill to have as an independent investor managing his own or her own capital?
I mean, all of you should take a basic accounting class, or at the very least use some of the tools that I've published in the Discord. There's free links I've posted of how to read financial reports in our financial education room on the Discord. Like, everybody should have that basic skill. And if you don't, you need to be very careful who you're getting your information from. Otherwise you are prey. You're being at risk of being taken advantage of from people who also don't know how to read financial reports or filings, or they minimize everything. Oh, don't worry about that reverse split. Don't worry about that delisting notice. I mean, what the fuck? You should always worry about filings. Anyone who's telling you don't worry about something, run the fuck away.
You got to read.
Yeah. And I would add just a little piece to it, Tony, because you said accounting, but economics is very important. What's going on in the world and understanding a bear market and the supply and demand, because that's not accounting. That's right. Economics.
And that is what I bring to the table. It's maybe different than other people, is a background in 4 years in college in economics. And when I say that your stock is going down because of the market and the general economics, some people don't like it that I'm saying that, but I mean, this is basic economics, basic stock market stuff that people want to say, no, it's not going, there's more buys than sells going on AMC right now. It's impossible that it's going down. It's not because of the market. It's not because of the economy. It's not because of interest rates. It's not because big institutional money is moving into U.S. treasuries. It's because of crime.
It's because of positive beta. Positive beta.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Negative beta will come and will.
I mean, if that helps you sleep at night, you can cling to whatever you want. But I live in a world of reality. Is there
Yeah.
probably crime going on and extra shenanigans
Of course.
in certain stocks?
Of course.
100%. 100% there is. But you can look around at any ticker on the market right now and see that they're all going down. And what I'm saying is common sense.
Yep.
You're
Let's-
pretty
I'm with
you're
it. I'm
pretty
with you on
fucking
that,
right.
Tony.
You're pretty fucking right most of it, a lot of times. Tony.
And if I'm wrong, I will make a video or do it on a live what I got wrong. So tune in to the quarterly earnings where you will hear me apologize for saying that dilution is happening, or I will take all comers to bring their apologies. All the people calling me names on Twitter, you know, you can you
Tony,
can submit your apologies there.
do you remember when you told me back in February about Mullen? Remember what you told me?
Dude, you had to go there with Mullen, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Remember? Yeah.
Mullen is the perfect example to what everything Tony just mentioned.
Yeah,
about a company
Mullen.
Yeah, it's guys, when a CEO sells shares at $1, get out. Not financial advice.
Or 1.75 billion in dilution.
With no revenue.
Justin says, Tony, you sound like you've lost your conviction in the play. I don't know why people say that I've lost my conviction. I mean, I post frequently when I'm buying, which was the most recently on Friday. I bought APE. I bought Highcroft recently. What I'm saying, Justin, just to be clear, is the market is in a bear market right now. Everything's going down. There's nothing you can do about it except be patient and be emotionless and cold-blooded. And if you're investing in the right companies that you believe will be around and not bankrupt in 5 years, you're going to thank yourself for the buys that you make right now. Do I know where the bottom is? Are we at the bottom? No, I don't know. And no, we might not be at the bottom of anything. Not the SPY, not Tesla, not Amazon, not Apple, not AMC. We might not be at the bottom.
It's
Who knows? I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at calling the
2022
bottom.
has been a shitty year, and I believe we're in a surviving mode right now. If you've been in a very over leverage, you're trying to survive, right? And that's the mission right now. You just need to my piece of advice, not financial advice.
It's only a bad year if you've overloaded on speculative stocks. That's it.
But Berkshire Hathaway lost 30%.
Yeah.
The past 6 months. Berkshire Hathaway is basically what the purest stock in the market. Berkshire.
Yeah.
If you really want to see if the market is where it's going, you look at Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway will tell you Class B or Class A, but I look at Class B. But everybody, every like the stock market is it's a bear market. So it's either you lose or you lose a lot, unrealized, right? But just survive. We're in a surviving mode, and spring will come. Spring will come.
Wedmore says, what are the risks of buying APE instead of AMC? First of all, I don't think that you're going to avoid, there's dilution risk for the entire company. I don't think you're going to avoid dilution risk on APE versus AMC. The dilution is going to affect the entire company. We've already gone over that. Sufyan, as a CPA, do you agree or disagree?
On what?
Dilution of APE will affect both AMC and APE.
Yeah.
Dilution is going to occur dilution's going to occur at a company level, even if it's in one ticker.
At a company level, because when you look at the equity section, the balance sheet, I don't want to be too technical right now, but if you look at the balance sheet, APE is a preferred stock and it will be in the financial statements of AMC.
So you're not going to avoid dilution in APE by moving to AMC. Everything's going to have the risk of dilution, but there's perception. So when we ask about what is the risk of buying APE instead of AMC, the retail perception, which could be capitalized on by institutions that are short AMC by enhancing that fear, is that APE could be run down faster than AMC.
Right.
That is a risk, right? The perceived risk of dilution. But reality is both will be subject to that dilution risk. And then the other risk of APE is not specific to APE. That is just general overall market risk, right? If the market continues down, all stocks are going to go down. So that's not a APE specific risk. But the biggest risk for APE is the perception that it is riskier than AMC. And I'm banking on the fact that that is a overblown risk. Just like I like selling into overblown hype, I like buying into overblown risk. That is why, for me, right now, right or wrong, time will tell. I'm only buying APE because I think the risk is overblown. And I don't know, guys. Not financial advice. It's just what I'm doing. And I'm not spending $100,000 buying APE. I'm buying a little bit every few days when it hits my price targets. So,
have you seen something similar to that before?
I've seen
Sorry, Steven.
I've seen dilution happen, and then the companies use the money to pay off debt or do an acquisition, which enhances shareholder value, and then a run up happen. That's no guarantee that will happen with AMC, right? I've said this numerous times. We got to see what Adam Aron says he's going to do with the money. Then we'll know if this was good dilution or bad. But I was not a fan of dilution this early, but now it is what it is. We play with the cards we're dealt. You got to make your own choices.
We got a question from Justin. He really wants us to answer. Why don't shorts cover when it's this low? Seems like a bargain, like they won. Why hold longer? They are paying daily interest. Why?
Yeah, that's a good question. Someone asked me that on Twitter. The only thing I can say is some of them are covering, some of them are reestablishing new shorts, and some of them are probably banking on a market crash or AMC going bankrupt. I can't answer why hundreds of different shorts are not covering, or maybe millions. Some of them are probably day trading it, swing trading it.
I got a good answer for him.
Go ahead.
Let me flip the script, right? Why didn't APE sell when it was at 72? It was felt like you won, right? Why didn't you bounce when you had the chance? Because you thought it was going to go higher. Well, it's the same thing on the short side. They think it's going to go lower. So why would they cover? If you think it's at $3, it's going to go to 50 cents. So that's their thesis, right? So they don't feel like they've won. Their mission is to bankrupt. So it's the same thing we thought last year in reverse. And at some point when AMC runs back up again, they were going to regret this moment that they didn't take the profit.
Yeah.
You're
and
right.
only time will tell which thesis is correct. Nobody knows.
The Sufyan.
Steven, I'd like to say that on live, but I think Steven has a great way to think as a short. And I think this community needs to really pivot in really knowing or understanding how shorts think in a play like this. And it's kind of like us, but it's the opposite. It's just the total opposite. People, the psychology of trading or investing, the biggest risk is being greedy, right?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, these guys, some of them are greedy fucks, right?
Yep.
Because
all of them, they're all greedy. Every one of them wants to.
We're all greedy. We just have different ideas about what direction something's going to go, right? Let's be real.
Sufyan, one short says a penny, the other one says 2 pennies. Which one's going to be right? Right? That's the way they think. They think we're done for.
But don't
you
get me
know,
wrong, some shorts made some money and moved on with their lives too.
Where was all the
Right?
people saying to sell Citigroup?
right.
Yeah.
Where was all the media saying to sell that? They sure are worried about what we're holding. Where were
Yeah.
all the warnings on Citigroup?
Right. You're
You
welcome.
know, you got to ask yourself. I go back to some of the videos I made a year ago, and some of that still holds true today. The amount of media shilling for the
Mhm.
negative side of this it makes me believe, and I have no evidence to say this. There's never been any evidence of synthetics provided to me that has met my requirement to say without a doubt they exist. There's lots of what's the word? There's lots of suspicious things, but the media, I think we have all seen, has an agenda many times, whether it's from big money, the owners of the media, or the government, to push an agenda. And the fact the media is so concerned about AMC and GameStop investors still makes me think we have a little bit of an edge on our side. They sure are worried about it for some reason. They
they're
can't
worried.
give it up.
Tony,
They
they're
can't
worried.
give it up.
Tony, I can't.
Yeah. Wait, hold on one sec, Sufjan. So when I pull up the 8K when it was released, it mentioned the term short squeeze 12 times when it was explaining to the investors what a short squeeze was. I've read a lot of 8Ks, and I've never seen a company take 3 pages on explaining what a short squeeze is. It's almost like AMC knows that this company's on a brink, could possibly be on the brink of a short squeeze, so they're informing all their investors that are not informed with the ape community. Like, say you're not in the ape community, right? They need to know what's going on, and they put it in that 8K. So it seems a little strange how in depth they went into explaining, hey, this stock could go crazy tomorrow, and it's really crazy stuff. You should check that out, Tony.
I have seen it. I'll just say this: take 2 sentences of that paragraph and Google it while we're here live. You'll find a dozen other examples. It's boilerplate, but it's not common. But any stock that is under retail pressure for a short squeeze, it is language you'll find, but not common. And they do think, there obviously is a chance that a short squeeze will happen.
I was going to say, Tony, I can't wait to watch your fuck the hater video post.
Oh man, I've got so many clips and screenshots. These people, they have failed to estimate properly my patience and drop in the trap. Walka's World says, do I think Adam Aaron diluted already? I think we're in the process. And again, go back and look, guys, at the press, at Google, at Adam Aaron's statements, December 2020 to January 2021, the 6 weeks that it took them to dilute 300 million shares. Look at the price, look at the volume, look at Google, look at the news, look at the filings if you want. It's a process to dilute this much, and I think they'll mostly be done by early November when we have the next quarterly earnings. We'll find out then exactly what the float increased. If the float did not increase at all, or if the float 425 million shares was sold for an average of more than $3 a share, I will issue a full-on apology to everybody on Twitter, because they are convinced it's being sold for $20 a share in private offerings at an auction and premium to the going price. They're either convinced of that, or they're convinced that no dilution is happening because surely Adam Aaron would not sell for $2 a share. I hope they're all right, but reality tells me, experience tells me that those are not true stories. They're wishful thinking, and that if the filing was made, it's probably happening. So I live in a world of reality. I always hope I'm wrong, but I'm usually not.
Tony,
If I'm wrong, there'll be a full apology made after the next quarterly meeting,
Do
live on camera.
Do you know offhand, Tony, how long it took in 2021? Because I believe they announced it. Was it April before they completed the share offering in June?
I haven't looked into that one. I looked at the December to January one because it was 300 million shares. It was closer in quantity to what we're dealing with now.
Oh, okay.
And there's a very interesting question out there from your wife's boyfriend, but he said that please answer how long you've seen a stock stay at 100% utilization.
Of all the numbers that I hate on Ortex, that is the one that I hate the most.
Yeah.
100% utilization. Like, what does that even mean, bro?
It's misleading.
I've told the story 100 times if I've told it once. Utilization in my based on the fact that it's always at 100 for AMC, it's got to be a bogus definition. If I'll tell it one more time very quickly. If I've got $1 million in my savings account and I'm willing to loan out 500,000 to Steven, and that's all I'm willing to loan because I need to have 500 left in my checking account. When I loan Steven 500K, I am at 100% utilization.
Can we get that in writing?
I'm at 100% utilization because that's all I was willing to loan, but I still got 500,000 shares, dollars, whatever you want to say, in the bank that I could loan. And maybe in a week, I decide I'm going to loan out another 100,000 to Sufyan. And he immediately says, hell yeah, I'll take it. Well, now I'm still at 100% utilization based on what I was willing to loan, but I still have 400K left. And that is the only rational explanation I can give you that makes sense in my mind, how they can be at 100% utilization and cost to borrow be so low. It's if it was fully utilized, truly at 100%, cost to borrow would be sky high. You've all seen it on certain plays where cost to borrow is through the roof, 100%, 70%, 80%. That to me is the only real indicator of fully utilized. It'll be marked hard to borrow and cost to borrow will be through the roof.
Speaking of that, is it hard to borrow still on Webull?
I think for APE, it was recently taken off.
No. No. There's a little HTB symbol, hard to borrow, for you guys if you didn't know on Webull. It'll tell you that information.
Six Sun says, Tony, I really hope you were wrong about Adam Aaron selling at the low price. Trust me, I hope I'm wrong too.
I don't think he would do that personally. I think that the smart thing to do if you're a CEO is to put a bunch of good news together first, then push that out, before even considering selling any shares. Yet
Mullen did 1.75 billion share offering when it was like at $1, right? Yeah. Sometimes companies need money so bad for whatever reason they think they need it for that they do stupid shit.
Right. But I don't think our CEO would do that. I mean, especially because of how much shares he has. I mean, based on all his tweets, maybe I'm being optimistic.
No, I mean, you guys don't know how much I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I would love to be wrong on this one. Please, God. Please. Michael, please, no, please, no. I hope I'm wrong. Honestly. Yeah. God, no. Don't be right, Tony.
But Tony, you're always fucking right, man, on camera.
I'm not always right. Scarlett will tell you I've been wrong at least twice in the last
No. On
years.
your YouTube, you're always right. Your YouTube.
Well, hey, we'll know in a few weeks, and I hope I'm wrong.
But you're not gonna be wrong.
Nothing about this makes sense with what I said a month ago. Like, there's no way he'll dilute. Remember, I said this a month ago. There's no way he'll dilute when it's below $10. Yeah, I said that. So of course I was surprised when I saw the dilution. I'm like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, it was a
No, I
little
do not want to see that, because I know what happens when a dilution notice comes out. The price goes down.
And then what happens after the price goes down?
Well, when the dilution is done, typically by the sheer fact that the selling pressure is removed, the price tends to pop back up.
Yeah.
And if there's good news along with that, like, hey, we used all that money and paid off 2 years worth of debt. Well, that's another good thing that can make it pop up. So I'm not saying the story's awful, but I'm not thrilled about him blowing 425 million shares at $2. None of us are. No one's happy about that if that's what's happening. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, in my reality, he's probably selling, even though I hate saying it. I hate even thinking it.
You know, Tony, I think you need to go to Atlanta, meet up with Adam, and just ask him.
Go to a movie premiere and ask him.
He'll be there.
Hey, bro, are you planning on selling? I know we met in Austin, Texas, or Dallas, but you know,
just ask him. Be like, hey, man, I need to know.
He doesn't even know he's gonna sell. You know, he's not even managing his own money.
No, I think they have their sell limits that Citigroup is probably aware of, right? They probably know.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you read the filing every day, they send over a letter or an email to Citigroup and say, here's how many we want you to sell, and here's the price we hope to get for them. I would hope that on a day that the price is falling, or, you know, like, let's say AMC drops to $1.45, don't fucking send the letter to Citigroup that day, Adam Aaron. Let the price go up for a couple days, bruh. Come on. That would be common sense, right? You're not going to say every single day, sell 1 million, sell 5 million.
No, I think it's going to be one.
Let's hope that some discretion is being applied.
I think it's going to be one shot, Tony. Don't know for sure, but my feeling tells me it'll be one shot.
What, that he's just going to pop off 100 million in one day into the market or off the market?
Well, assuming that, like you said, with good news, that it goes up, and then he just sells as it goes up.
Oh, well, I mean, that would be ideal, right?
That's what I'm referring to. It rises up on good news, and then it keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, that is a theory, and I'd love that theory to be true, that he just did the filing now, and he's going to wait 6 months for some good news after Q4 earnings, and then sell it then. I hope that is right. You don't know how much I want that to be right. I'm just preparing you guys for the reality that might not be the case.
You know, that's why your channel is so good.
That's why my channel is so hated.
Yeah.
No, so good. If you're, I don't want to be a sales pitch, but if you really want to understand stock market, there you go. The hard way.
Good night, Pam. Thank you.
Yep. See ya.
See ya, Pam.
What is behind the meaning of 1/100th of a share of AMC? Your wife's boyfriend wants to know. So one preferred share is worth 100 shares of common stock. An APE is based on a preferred share, but it's divided by 100. So each APE is 1/100th of a preferred share, which is equal to 1 common share per APE. Hopefully that made sense. Pessimism has its uses, peace love says.
Right.
Yeah, I like the word realist instead of pessimist. I am a optimist by nature, or I'd not still be holding AMC. Right?
But you're a realistic person.
Yes, right? I mean, anyone who thinks I'm pessimist, take a look at my negative on my AMC shares and still call me a pessimist. Like, I'm holding it for a reason because I'm optimistic, but I'm also realistic about the timeline, the current situation, the bear market. That's realism. And that enables me to sleep at night knowing that we're not exactly in control right now and that things will get better in the future.
And what makes you sleep at night is also your option gains on AMC.
Well, that and Woodford Reserve too.
Yeah, cheers.
I mean,
We were up till 4 a.m. last night watching some stupid show on HBO. I don't even want to tell you what it is.
Do you yeah, sorry.
Not because I couldn't sleep, just because my sleep schedule's so fucked up from Scarlett working night shift. Arthur says, Tony, if folks don't like what you say, they can go fuck their mother.
wow.
That was it, Tony.
Yeah, I'm Arthur. You know, I'm not here for popularity, and eventually,
Right, Arthur.
I'm just here to share a different perspective, still a bullish perspective, still an optimistic perspective, a perspective of wanting to see you guys in this game in stock investing for the long term, and that is going to require you to pull back from the clickbait channels and accept the reality of some of the other channels who, you know, live in a world of reality so that you can maximize your trades. Whether it's AMC or GTII or the play of the week, we live in a world of reality, which is get in early, get the fuck out. Now, some people are stuck in AMC, I get it, or stuck in GameStop. I don't think that all hope is lost, especially for AMC. Movies are not going anywhere. Is the company struggling? Has it got some debt to pay? Yes and yes. Is the company going bankrupt? I say no way. No way is it going bankrupt.
No way anymore. I think during the pandemic, early in the pandemic, that was a possibility.
I get it. I hear all the channels that say it's absolutely going bankrupt. $5 billion in debt. Okay, well, you are neglecting the golden tickets called APE to pay off the debt. Now, are any of us excited about dilution? Fuck no. We all know what dilution means, but that also means no bankruptcies on the table. So fuck off.
But Steven, could you explain like the psychology of over leveraged short people at this time?
Whoa,
Like
man,
in the opposite market. Let's say when we were like at $30 for AMC, and some people were just freaking out in the other side. Of course, they were gonna spread FUD, and right now they don't really have the motivation to spread that much of a FUD. The FUD was going on a lot when we were high in the prices.
Right. No, the shorts are comfortable right now. They don't have anything to worry about.
They're winning the game right now.
Until that press release comes out that says AMC raised X capital or they merged or they did something, they're not going to be worried. You know, they're in control but at the same time, anyone's in control. Like Tony said, if you've been playing shorts or puts, say you're a short hedge fund, you know, you're in control. Everyone's in control if they're on that side. But like Tony says, it's a short-lived thing. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I think we all know that we've trusted Adam Aaron this far, so it'd be, I think, foolish to go against it now, you know. So that's where I'm
William brings up a good point, which we talk about with AMC, GameStop, and many companies that are losing money. You've got to look at the trajectory, guys, and you cannot be oblivious to any company that is losing money, but you got to look at the market conditions. Was it pandemic related, and the trajectory? So is AMC moving towards profitability? Yes. Is Hollywood putting out more movies next year than this year? Yes. Is streaming decimating movies? No. Do you think that AMC has a chance of getting towards a profitable quarter in the next 4 quarters? I do. Not everybody does. That's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm here to talk about what I think. And I think that the trajectory is good. If I see the trajectory change over a 2 or 3 quarter period, then we'll talk about that at that time. The movie industry has quarters that go like this, so you can't analyze any one in isolation. But the trajectory is moving the direction that I want to see it.
Okay, Tony, real quick. It was 2 months and a week is the answer. I just looked up the 2021 when they announced it. They announced it on April 27th.
Was that the 44 million?
Yeah, or 50. It was 44 to 50, right? It was announced on April 27th. The share offering was completed on June 2nd, and that was when AMC hit its all-time high. So that was 2 months and a week. Yeah.
So that took 8 months for 44 million shares. The 300 million shares took only 6 weeks. That's kind of weird. But there were a lot more people willing to buy 300 million shares at $2 back in December of 2020 than 40 million shares at $40, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're going to wait until Q4 is over with, because there's a lot of good things to say about Q4. They can combine that with a good press release. Right now, there's not going to be much to say about Q3. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't know. It just depends. I would wait if I was Adam Aaron until after Q4.
Steven, I had a little request for you. So remember the analogy you kind of like gave to Dario back in the day about the water, and Tony loved it. Do you still remember that analogy?
No.
No, come on, you know it, right? You don't remember that analogy about like a short and the water, what's going on with the water? And
I do. I just can't explain it on live. It's too much. But I will another time, I promise.
That was a beautiful analogy, seriously.
I'm going to write it down for you, though.
Beautiful.
What's up with Prometheus?
Prometheus is this has been the new thing that's making the rounds right now, right? Twitter, YouTube. It's all about the bonds now.
Didn't Jim Chanos say that the bondholders will eventually own this company?
I mean, I don't know if Chanos said it, but I'm definitely hearing a lot of people say it on Twitter and YouTube. That might be something I dig in more tomorrow.
Isn't the reason shorts cannot let?
Is that another conspiracy theory, though?
Well, I mean, this is what I'm like. Why? Okay, 2 years. Why are we just now talking about bonds? It's like when we run out of other things that make sense, let's create a new narrative to explain everything away.
I would say, Tony,
I'm not judging anybody. I haven't.
But I would say it's because it's what is kind of like the closest thing as cash for in terms of risks, and because bonds are fixed, right? Basically, aren't they?
I have not looked. I mean, are there bonds that are different than the debt that we owe, the liens? Or is this what we're talking about? Is this the bonds that people are talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah. I care so little about it. I haven't even looked into it, but obviously the debt holders are in a more senior position than the common stockholders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does any of that matter unless the company's going bankrupt? Why are people talking about this?
Tony, did Roaring Kitty care about the bonds or the synthetic?
I know of.
Nope. Who cares about all that, guys? The company is going to get better. The shorts are going to exit, and then we'll get a nice price.
Like literally every week, someone's looking for a new theory to explain why the stock's still going down. Fuck all that. Know why you hold.
Yeah.
Do you believe in the company or not? Why do we need to create a new theory every fucking week?
It's a Wyckoff theory.
I don't have time. I don't have time to chase down.
It's too
I don't
much.
have time to chase down the fucking side chick of the week. I don't care.
It's too much.
Tony, I was just early. That's
It's because they want to be right, Tony. They want to put out something, and then the stock goes up, and then they can say, "Oh, look, it was because of what I said."
Yeah, it's all business. It's
Yeah.
all, yeah.
Prometheus, hey buddy, Prometheus, I'm not slamming you. Feel free to. I'm serious. If you got a good, crisp theory on it, feel free to DM me on
Yeah,
Twitter.
I'd like to hear it too.
I'm serious. I will dedicate a day to dive into it, but I have not. But I'm seeing the titles run across Twitter and run across YouTube, and I drop in chats and I hear people talking about it, but I have not spent a lot of time looking into it. I've seen people create 10 post long tweets explaining, but why does this matter if we're not going bankrupt?
That's been off the table since when the share offering was completed in June. That was gone. There was no chance of bankruptcy after that. That was the whole point of the share offering of him diluting in 2021, was to never be bankrupt.
What someone said, what happened to Roaring Kitty? I'm pretty sure, he made his money. He got his company in a lot of trouble. And he was told, go away. Do not show up on social media by his attorneys. You're lucky, buddy. You got hauled in front of Congress. You're lucky you didn't get personally fined. And take a hiatus. For all we know, he might have a voice modulator and be Al from Boston.
Oh, that's a conspiracy theory right there.
The likelihood of that, Tony, is about 100K a share. It's around the same page. Al from Boston, that guy, man. I'm not going there.
I know. Roaring Kitty actually knew something about finance and stock market.
His fundamental
that was a joke. That was a joke.
His fundamentals were very impressive if you go back and look at him, and he actually believed in GameStop. His price target on GameStop was $50. And he wasn't sitting there every day saying it was going to go to 1,000 like these other YouTubers. He had a reasonable price target for GameStop. They had no competition at the time. They had that Microsoft deal that was going on. He was early, and Reddit piled in.
He focused on a couple things: cheap stock price, high short interest, the options chain loading up, and a thesis of why the company was going to succeed.
Yeah.
Sound familiar? Anybody?
A lot of
like
YouTubers.
all these people saying don't buy long-term options. Fuck off. You need a gamma squeeze. You need a gamma squeeze, but you don't waste your money on options expiring next Friday. Buy some a little bit of a ways out, close to the money, so that if the price runs up, you can get some gamma ramp from it. Buy some options. Buy it with some stock. Buy both. Don't spend all your money on options, and definitely don't buy options expiring next Friday because they're 2 cents. You're throwing money away. Tony, buy some options, buy them far out. If you believe in the company, and then we need a catalyst, and we need some buying pressure to come in.
You missed a turn, though. You missed a turn, Tony. You missed a turn. Load the boat.
You're taking all the fun away by saying don't buy weeklies. That's what makes it fun, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, people became addicted to the crack of a home run every week, and they still haven't given up. I was looking. Someone mentioned about the fucking options. What's it called? The the Max Payne.
Oh, Max Payne, yeah.
In 2 weeks is $11. That they know something. Max Payne on October 21st is $11. They know something. Or it could be that is the week that it's not weekly options and there's much more options loaded up in the chain that week. Have you bothered to look into that? Have you bothered to look in the fact that the number of the strike prices go higher than $16 on that week? You know what I'm talking about? You guys know that there's weekly options and others, right? 14th of October, the call options go to $18. 21st, the one that everyone's so excited and now they know something because max pain's higher. Look at this, 18, 19, 20, 21, 26. I think they might even go higher than 26. The max pain is higher this week because there's more strike prices and more money loaded up. People are buying 2-cent, $26 strikes. Of course the max pain's higher because every other week there's not that. The strike prices don't go that high. Like use some basic analysis skills.
I see 2 weeks. Where's Doc Zeno when we need it? Tony and everyone, did the stream have a CPA with advice? Just curious what was said earlier. Should I go back and watch the whole thing?
No advice.
We did. We talked about some capital gains, but that was pretty much it. Danny R. But the best code of the display has been 2 weeks.
Sufjan, it's been 2 weeks for 2 years now.
Yeah, I know, but it's still funny for me.
No, I
know. Or the short squeeze ranking specialist. That's
Walker's World asking all the hard hitting questions today. How do we get buying pressure if they are routing orders off exchange?
You got to buy more. Not advice.
Number one, don't listen to people that say stop buying. I saw it from like some of the most convinced hopium dealers on Twitter and now are saying, well, it's time to stop buying, guys. Yeah. Number one, don't listen to people that say stop buying because that is not going to create buying pressure. You do what you want, but if your marching orders are stop buying, you can forget about buying pressure. Number two, get off of payment for order flow brokers. I don't care what your excuse is. If you're still buying and you're using Webull, Moomoo, any of that nonsense, or you're on a real broker like Fidelity or TD Ameritrade, and you haven't bothered to do the setup for directed trade, you're part of the problem. Get off of these fucking brokers that are doing payment for order flow. At least for this stock. If you're still buying. If you're just holding, you're fine. And number three, the really Walker's World, the only way really to get buying pressure to overwhelm everything that's going on is you need a catalyst. Like, to be blunt. Right now, most people, I'm going to be perfectly blunt, are holding. Right? Everybody's depressed. They don't want to put money in a falling market. They don't want to put money in falling stocks. No one blames you for that. That is normal mentality. Some of us that have free cash flow coming in that can send money weekly to our broker are still buying because we recognize the deal of buying many stocks in a bear market as prices are falling. But not everybody has that luxury. So if you're just holding, that's cool. But you're an observer at this point. If a fraction of the float is trading, if there's 513 million AMC and only 5 million are trading, those are the ones setting the price.
But
everybody
Tony,
else,
everyone else
is just an observer.
If we throw all our shares into a box, we're gonna moon.
Are you talking DRS?
Yeah.
You wanna go into that?
No, I don't.
No.
But guys, you have to be an active participant in the
Tony's gonna get an avalanche of tweets.
I already got enough haters. Don't make me talk about DRS.
No.
Oh, let's just talk about Mullen though for a second.
No. Dude, Mullen dead. Oh man.
Oh my God.
No, man. I mean, everybody's an observer in a bear market. That's why the people that buy whatever you decide to buy are going to be rewarded later down the road. The best
Look, can we just talk about the big problem right now? The YouTubers and the Twitter people who show the Fidelity buying pressure chart.
Is that the buy?
You guys realize how much they're misleading you by showing that? Well, Fidelity says that 80% of the orders today were buys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 80% of retail. Doesn't show the quantity, doesn't show the volume. It's one broker, and it doesn't show, retail is a fraction of institutional trade. So basically, these people are giving you meaningless information. And you're thinking that based on that YouTube video or Twitter chart that you saw, that everybody's buying AMC. Wake the fuck up. You're being clickbaited. I'm sorry.
Tony, I need some more hopium than that.
It's just misleading information.
Oh man. No, it really is, guys. I mean, you stay away from the YouTubers who are getting all their information from Twitter.
Stay away from people who are showing you the Fidelity chart
Yeah.
as the barometer for what is going on. That is one broker showing retail only, not institutions. And retail is not the big buyer of any stock in the market on any given day. Just not.
Even if someone is dropping 100K, that's not a lot of money.
Drop in the bucket.
100K is not a lot of money for the stock.
What will change things? Tell us something good, Tony. A good news catalyst, or a good market, or the Fed changing interest rates, bringing big institutional money back into the market will fucking change this play. Once big institutional money is coming in, or there's a good news catalyst, then retail will get off their ass and come in and buy this thing like they did in 2021. Right now, retail is along for the ride.
And negative beta most likely won't help.
You had to throw that in there, huh?
No, I mean, like, let's be honest.
Oh man.
I mean, that's negative beta basically contradicts what Tony is saying, because he's just literally saying we need big money.
There is no negative beta on AMC.
Big money doesn't have money when there's a bigger market / negative beta. So there you go.
Yeah, I can't tell you to buy AMC stock, but what I can say is go to AMC and buy $100 worth of popcorn and give it to everybody behind
I can tell you two things that I've been doing. I've been buying on the dips, and I've been buying more concessions than normal.
Yeah, just buy the extra candy bar, like
we bought what did we buy? We bought the movie nachos, which I was not really impressed with the delivery. It was like a box of Tostitos and a can of cheese dip, but it was okay in taste.
Tony,
the presentation did not meet expectations, but I bought a large popcorn and the movie nachos. I wanted a fucking loaded nachos like you get at Chili's, like a big old bowl full of nachos with cheese dripping off of it and jalapenos. And come on, Adam Aaron, you got some work to do on your movie nachos.
The Impossible Nuggets are pretty good.
They were pretty good, and the fried macaroni is pretty good too, and the pizza's all right, and the burgers are the bomb. Movie nachos, I think I'll pass next time.
And if you don't like the movies, just go in line, buy a popcorn, and leave. You can do that too.
Lucy says Rivian cars steering mechanism messed up and having a big recall. So I just want to pat myself on the back for 1 second. Something I rarely do, but if you've been listening to my channel for a while, you know I've said 100 times when people ask about, Tony, what do you think about EV company so-and-so? I've said 100 times the biggest risk that all of these companies face is manufacturing ramp, number one, and the fear of and the cost of recalls, number two. Almost every Rivian car is being recalled, although they say that not all of them will have this problem. This is a costly problem, both to their bottom line and to their reputation. So thank you for pointing that out. And for all of you that are buying startup EV companies, definitely something to be aware of.
When it comes to Tony, I think you back me up on this. When it comes to EV stocks, guys, make sure that they're actually producing cars. like it's actually getting built and shipped before you start looking at it being a good investment rather than just talking about it. You know, there's a difference.
By the goobers, Carl says. I was looking for hot tamales, Carl, breaking my keto diet the other night, and I could not find hot tamales in the concessions aisle. Another major faux pas. Dibs on puts on PayPal. Yeah, PayPal. Man, what's some weekend news about PayPal? You guys know also, if you've been around, I fucking hate PayPal after they said they were going to hold my money for 6 months for violating a terms of service. Lucky for them, joke was on them. I was withdrawing my money daily, bitches. So you held $3 for 6 months. But
wow.
I turned away from PayPal and have hated them for a long time. So
Do you like Venmo?
I use Venmo, but Venmo is also owned by PayPal. So when PayPal blocked my PayPal account, they closed my Venmo account too.
Oh,
did you know?
So what about no? What
Did
about
you know
Zelle?
that? Yeah,
You like
same
Zelle?
day, same moment, everything got locked down.
Jeez, that's scary.
Fuckers,
Yeah.
fuckers. I don't keep any money on any of those things. The
No.
day I get paid on it, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, I take the money out.
Good.
Right
Fuck
on.
all of them. Nobody's holding my money.
Right
And
on.
read the terms of service, guys. If you violate anything that they don't like, they will lock down your money, sometimes for up to 180 days. Fuck that.
And a new tax tip for your channel, your community. If you're using Venmo now, be careful because they're going to be issuing K99. So you'll be accountable to report any incoming cash in your Venmo. So there you go.
Yeah, no one cares about that. Come on, man.
You don't know. Some people just think like they'll never get like, I don't know, like Venmo will issue you a
It's
tax
$600, right? Isn't that the threshold?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some good comments in here. EV charging is a smart investment. I agree. I like ChargePoint. I believe it's going to be the best charging station. There's a few others, but ChargePoint's clearly the best.
We love charging stations on this channel over any EV play.
Yeah, I'll take ChargePoint over Tesla.
I like a good old Mustang. Fuck these electrical companies. I like a good old Mustang.
That's funny.
I'm just kidding.
I can't tell if Raven is if someone that we need to torch up or if he's just being funny.
Where?
You want to play
What's his name?
The drums?
The drums? Let me see. Is it on the bottom? I didn't see it.
I don't know.
What did he say, Tony? I want to see.
It's unclear to me if he needs to be torched up, but I see a couple people telling him to get out of the chat, so hard to say.
Come on, I want to read it.
Sufjan wants to torch somebody up. Walka's World says, how long after AMC announcing profitability and or no debt do you feel it will take the short to accept defeat? Or do you think they will continue this fight?
How long after?
I think we're several quarters away from profitability, and we're over a year away from no debt. So,
we want to torch him. We want to torch him.
Wow.
We want to torch him, Tony. We want to torch him. That's inappropriate.
The chat gets to vote, not you, Sufjan.
Yeah, you got to put the torch. Comment the torch if you want a torch.
So the shorts will accept defeat when they think that the company is no longer headed to bankruptcy, or they think that retail has not given up. And right now they look at the comments, look at Twitter, look at YouTube. There are people giving up. They have no reason to accept defeat.
Yeah, no,
they are winning. They are winning the mental and emotional game. And of course they are, because it's a bear market. They're capitalizing on a bear market to wring your emotions, not at the risk of repeating myself, through the ringer. So there'll only be a few people that survive.
I got a question for you, Tony.
Yeah.
Not to get political, but you've been in the market a long time. Based on the best of your memory, how does it usually pan out when it comes to election season? Does the market usually dip, and then maybe once the elections are over, does it reverse, or how does the trajectory tend to go?
I will say in general, the market likes an indecisive Congress, or like a split presidency in Congress. Or depending on what stocks you're invested in, they like all of Congress to be in one party. It depends on what you're investing in. Like all Democrat Congress buy Facebook, sell energy stocks, buy solar, right? Leading up to that, you got to have your thesis on who you think is going to win. So I was buying Facebook into thinking that Biden was probably going to win, or that a Democrat Congress was going to come into play. Now, that Facebook play took a few months of patience, but I was thinking, as I saw Biden sliding into victory, that Facebook did not spend all that money getting Biden elected to not eventually run up, and eventually it did. So, but mostly, if Congress gets into a stalemate, I think that the market will like that. Or if they see that, sorry, this is not a political channel, I'm just talking like how it affects your money.
Yeah.
If they think that Republicans are going to get in charge of both houses and the presidency and reduce taxes, that also could be bullish. Like every election cycle is different, so there's no hard and fast answer to that.
Gotcha.
But going into a midterm election, the market is going to want to see a stalemate in Congress where no additional spending can get passed. Right now, spending is fucking killing us.
Right.
Oh, the Inflation Reduction Act. Let's spend a few $100 billion and reduce inflation by spending money. All right.
Do you think, when do you think the recovery is going to be happening?
When the Fed stops raising rates.
Yeah, and that's not going to be for a while.
Probably not for a year. Unfortunately, I never thought we'd be at the end of 2022 saying this is going to last till 2023. But right now, until we see a change in economic indicators, which will then tell us that the Fed might change their mind, we're not going the right direction.
So bear market until 2023?
Based on this month's economic indicators, I don't see them letting off the gas. Now, that could change. Look, the bond market being fucked up could change their mind.
Do you know when the next CPI is?
Isn't there CPI and PPI next week?
That's what I was thinking.
17th, 18th, that's what I was thinking.
So if that runs hot again, that could affect how high they raise it in November.
Every month, the Fed is looking at economic indicators for helping make their decision about what to do next. Yes. The interest rates are a slow-moving input to the economy. So they make a change and then they watch the economic indicators for a few months. The problem is like changing interest rates it's almost there. You see economists talking about this on TV now, right? They're reacting to stuff and they're raising rates, but the change could already be happening in the economy. So there are some economists that are getting pissed that they're still raising rates because they're like, you need to give it time to cycle through the whole economic system. You're going to raise rates all to the point where we're in a recession when you should have just like taken a slower approach. So these people, they could be right.
I'm looking at the Fed Watch tool, Tony. It says there's a 60% chance by February 1st of next year we're at 475 basis points. It's pretty high.
I mean, like I said, they literally want to decimate everything to fix inflation. And it is sad. People will lose their jobs. People will lose their house. Companies will go out of business.
Isn't that Powell's argument, though, that I forgot how he worded it, but he was saying we're better off decimating people, like you were saying, rather than just letting inflation run rampant, right? That the damage is worse if you just let inflation take over.
He's basically said it is unfortunate that there will be some people hurt by this.
Like which one specifically?
Which one? What?
That will be hurt.
People will lose their jobs. Companies will go out of business.
And you're not going to get raises if the company's paying more in interest and everything.
Mm-hmm. It's going to go back to the equilibrium.
By the time this plays out to the end, you're already seeing layoffs, freezes on hirings. It could get a lot worse. When it gets that bad, that's when the Fed will know they've reached the maximum pain and that things are about to turn around. I mean, no one wants to really see that happen, but that's probably the direction we're headed.
And one of the safest way to approach this is have liquid assets, which means cash or stable investments. Not financial advice, but
Sam I Am says, isn't that for business accounts only on Venmo? I'm assuming he's talking about holding your money. Full disclosure, Sam, in the process of starting up one of my businesses during the pandemic, it was a new business, and I was in the process of applying for legit credit card processing. And there were a couple of customers that wanted to pay me on PayPal or Venmo, which was not my preferred way of doing business. But if they didn't want to deal with the lag of the other way to pay, and while I was waiting on the credit card processing to set up, I had a couple people pay on PayPal, just a couple. And for whatever reason, PayPal detected it. It was not a business account. It was my personal account. They closed it, and they also closed my personal Venmo. Neither of them were business accounts. Now, I was running a few business transactions through them. It was a couple $100 a day, not anything crazy. I mean, I was doing $50,000 a month in sales, and my credit card account got set up a few days later, so it was not a big deal, but it had nothing to do with a business account. So no, not only business accounts, they will hold your money for 180 days.
Is it possible, Tony, that if we get that many Fed hikes that you could see 10% plus mortgage interest rates?
Sure.
Man, that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary stuff, especially if you have an adjustable rate and you bought at the top of the market, which a lot of people did, you know.
Tax due from Venmo payments over 600. That I don't know, Sam I Am. Tax due should only be if it was a business transaction. If it was income, then you might have tax due. I don't
but
know.
How would they figure out if it was income for an individual if they get a deposits?
Yeah, I mean, most of Venmo theoretically is like, I gave you $50 for the bar tab, or I'm paying you back for dinner. That's not income. So,
but sometimes, like I've seen a lot here that like some independent contractors have been using Venmo as just kind of like paying cash, right? So that's what the IRS is trying to figure out. And
Yeah, well, technically, those people should have business accounts on Venmo, right?
yeah, so
Technically.
they're yeah. Hey, they're coming after everyone now.
What do you guys think about energy stocks? I mean, I hate to say it, but it seems like the war in Ukraine is not calming down, unfortunately. You know, it seems like it's escalating, and that could have an effect on energy stocks like your old CEI. You remember that one?
Yep. CEI, people were asking me about that a couple of weeks ago. Should we buy CEI again? I don't know. Look, Stephen, since you were the one that asked that question, right? The more I hear people pushing energy stocks, the more I think I don't want to buy them. People being the media.
Yeah.
Everyone's, oh, energy stocks, it's a sure thing. You know, the more I hear that, the more I want to short them. Don't get me going on energy stocks. I feel like the moment everybody piles into it, that's going to be the top.
Right. I think if there's a massive escalation, then they would go up. But most likely, like you said, they would probably come right back down. Let's see. My first mortgage was 13%. Yeah, I mean,
Holy shit.
that's a lot.
My first one was 9.5.
But the sales price, I assume, was a lot, lower.
Yeah. I was buying right after the oil crisis ended in the late 80s, early 90s. So we were able to buy houses for my first duplex cost me $69,000. Probably in that neighborhood, probably going for $1 million now.
Do you wish you kept it?
Yep. Yep. I bought it for 3% down, so it cost me $1,800, and I sold it.
Oh man.
For around 300,000, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, that was 10, 12 years ago. So my return on $1,800 was through the roof. But if I would have held it, back then when I sold it, I didn't know Austin had done this, but I didn't know we were going to do this off the chart.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Austin's one of the most massive increases out of I think it's in the top 3 for highest real estate appreciation.
Yeah. But I was when I started selling properties, I was looking to simplify life and lock in some gains, not continue accumulating an empire that was going to take up every single day showing properties and fixing shit, which was what it was getting to the point to. All my weekends were, I probably should have just hired I should have hired somebody to manage the properties, but
I don't blame you.
I was
How
like,
long have you been living in Austin?
Ring the
20 years?
register, take some money off, take it easy.
Yeah. Enjoy your weekends.
Enjoy the weekends, exactly. Am I optimistic in APE and AMC either being above $10 per share again before the end of the year? Recall your last live with Mash, you had an idea of a next run in November. Yeah. So I hate to give a price target, but I do think this is just based on looking at the chart momentum that we are due for a next run up before Thanksgiving. I don't have any factual basis or catalyst to tell you why that will happen other than looking at the oscillations in the chart.
Is it kind of like a run up? You're kind of like your birthday run up, or just a
That thing ran up on nothing.
Pull up the chart of AMC and look at about every 3 months. It has an unknown spike. I didn't anticipate the reason of any of those happening. other than maybe the accumulation distribution cycle.
Wasn't that crazy? That, like the fact that AMC ran 45% on your
Yes.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to watch that stream again.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to point it towards that, like Tony said, but it seems realistic based on. It seems like Adam Aaron has something that he wants to say. Some good news coming out soon.
I'm not pinning it on anything specific. Adam Aaron, dilution, APE, nothing other than look at the chart, look at the oscillations, and look at the time frame. You can see that if it holds, you guys know I'm not big on TA on a short squeeze stock, and it's fucking even worse in a bear market, right? This will be a miracle if I'm correct. But based on the pattern of the chart, a run up of some sort before Thanksgiving would not surprise me. We'll see.
So a run up, right? Not a squeeze.
A run up, yes, not a
run
squeeze.
up, yeah.
You know,
Let's
it's a
make that
squeeze
clear.
when it's jumping it's jumping faster every time you blink. You know,
Yeah.
that's how you know when it's jumping $5, $5. That's a squeeze.
Was Steven, was the 45% run up on Tony's birthday a run up or a squeeze?
I view a squeeze. I mean, a squeeze is obviously when the price is moving extremely fast. Not
Well,
not
that
a
was
dollar
going pretty
here and there.
fucking fast though.
When it's moving dollars per day on no news, there is some squeeze going on. There is some short covering going on.
It's got to move quick.
It might not be the MOAS squeeze, but if the price is moving from $6 to $12, there's some shorts getting the fuck out. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, perhaps the 45%.
Well,
run up.
yeah,
The
I mean,
ones
right?
that shorted at $6 or $7 are getting out. The ones that were, safely shorted at higher price than that, they're biting their nails, hoping it doesn't keep going.
That was a scary run up for a short player on your birthday. Oh my god.
45%. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been really scared if I was a short.
Happy birthday.
Shouldn't we see AMC run?
Yeah. I hope you're right, Tony. I really truly hope you're right. And
Well, I got some calls just in case.
For November?
Let's see. I have 2 sets of calls, I think. Let me pull them up.
Wouldn't that be great that this play gets over with by the end of 2022? We MOAS or we squeeze, whatever you want to call it.
I have AMC.
Yeah.
I have December calls at a $10 strike. I have December calls at a $10 strike, and I have March calls at an $8 strike.
How are those 145 March calls looking?
Which ones?
Remember the 145 call from back in the day? Yeah.
I don't know. I try and buy as close to the current price as possible.
Expired? Yeah, but Tony, you're gonna have to think about your Royal Caribbean ones, right?
But Tony, why my Royal Caribbean is fucking. It's a
That's a
fucking
great
boat
industry.
anchor.
That industry just should have rebounded by now, I would think.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like the cruises are on fire right now.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are going. My entourage.
I don't understand why Royal Caribbean's been taken for such a ride. $43. It was almost at $100, and it's at $43.
Tony, your thesis about your option, your due diligence was pretty fucking solid.
We got close. We got close.
Yeah.
So like
We got to $97 twice, and I didn't sell.
I called this as I would put this as an anomaly, right? Like what's going on?
I had
People are
2
going on
chances to
cruises.
sell. 2 chances to
Oh,
sell,
yeah.
and I didn't sell.
On Royal Caribbean?
Yes, I bought them on the dip back in 2020, early 2021 with $100 strike, and we got to $97 in March of 2021 and November of 2021, and I did not sell. And now I'm going to probably ride them to zero. Thousands of dollars of calls.
You always say like never let your calls go red.
I know. I don't say don't let your calls go red. Options are going to be volatile. I said if you get in the money, sell them. But I thought for sure the cruise industry would rebound based on leisure travel rebounding, but it took a dump.
You had a lot of time
in April. In April, it just shit the bed.
I've heard that Boeing is gonna blow up from a Yahoo Finance analyst, but that's just what I saw. But yeah, I mean, like your thesis was pretty good, Tony. It's just it's an anomaly, but you should have sold though.
Thank you.
Hey, you want to remind him again?
There's an expensive mistake. Yeah.
That was easy to say. But...
Watch Tony laugh about losing thousands of dollars when he should have sold. Yeah.
Like, Tony, that's a nice story, but you should have sold.
Cool story, bro. You got close twice, but you were in the green and you didn't fucking sell. I was like, they're good till January 2023. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Isn't that the hardest part, Sufjan? Is selling, right?
It's selling, yeah.
The thesis is good. The risk management's good. The psychology's good, but then
the due diligence, the financial statements, everything was perfect for Tony, but just click on the fucking button, man, and sell. That's it.
Oh man.
That is gonna end up being my biggest loss for 2023. I can tell you that.
We're laughing about that, but
on
the big picture, Tony had made so much fucking money out of other option plays. So it's just a little percentage, right? So
it's one play that I didn't make money on, but it's gonna I will make it up on other ones. I'm not worried.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a big ouchie. It's what we call sunk cost. You're familiar with that, right, Sufjan?
Yeah.
Tony, is it possible to get calls on an ETF?
On an ETF?
Yeah.
No,
like what? So. Like GLD?
No, like DRV.
Well, I'll tell you real quick. I haven't.
Or do you just buy shares?
Yeah, they have options.
They do?
Yep.
Okay. That's all I needed to know.
Why? What's your idea behind it?
Well,
not financial advice.
Yeah. I mean, Tony knows. I've been telling him over and over at this point. DRV is an inverse real estate bear ETF. I called it out at $38 and I said it was going to 100 and it's trading currently at 75. I'm almost there. And I think it's betting against the real estate market with the Fed raising rates at least 2 more times. It's going to crush buyer demand and real estate prices are going to start to dip and DRV rises as home prices decline.
Mm-hmm. What do they do exactly?
What does what do?
DRV.
DRV is the ticker symbol that tracks the bearish real estate market. So as real estate goes down, DRV stock goes up.
It's a negative effect, yeah.
Yeah, it's an inverse ETF. It's for more people that are, I'd say, more advanced, and you definitely don't hold this thing long term, but it's just on a tear, and it's going to continue to rise. I don't see it going down.
It's kind of like when Burry expected that the real estate market will crash. He was, this kind of ETF is for it.
Yeah, but it seems like it's moving faster than normal right now.
Wow. So that's a good indicator about the real estate market.
I think so.
How it is doing.
I'm not a realtor though.
Yeah.
Pam is though. You should message her.
Yeah, she knows.
Candace says I do that too. Also with the slot machines, I never know when to walk away. I don't play a lot. Steven, you're in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I know everything there is to know about the gaming industry.
I don't play slot machines, but when I get ahead on the craps table, I start putting $1,000 chips in my pocket every few minutes. That way I don't see it.
What's your favorite bet on the craps table?
I start off usually just doing pass line until we get a hot shooter on the table, and then I start loading up numbers. And then every time a number hits, I'll take a little bit back, and then I'll double up my bet, or maybe 50% it. And on a good run, and I've had these happen on occasion, not every time. On a good run, you'll have a shooter go for an hour. And on those days, I've cleared over like 10,000 on a craps table.
That's really good. I mean, that's right at the threshold where they kick you out, Tony.
Do you
That's why they invite me back for free.
Yeah, they start watching you at that point.
That's why they invite me back for free. But not every trip is like that. There's trips where I have my spending limit of I'm getting free hotel and free food, so I'll go there with like say $2,000 that I would have spent somewhere else on hotel, food, airplane, and that's my gambling money. And I pace it as slow and methodical as I can until there's a good shooter, and I hope that it is a good trip. And sometimes I lose the 2,000, but my entire stay was free.
Right.
So it's not.
Can't wait to meet you there. Can't wait to meet you there.
Yeah, we got one coming up.
Yeah,
we're gonna make one coming up.
Did
you gamble in Austin or not?
No.
There's no casinos.
No gambling in Texas. Got to go to Louisiana or Oklahoma. But I prefer New Orleans or preferably Vegas.
Or Florida, right?
There's gambling in Texas. It's in the options chain.
Or Sixth Street.
Yeah,
that's a different type of gambling, though.
There's a good in Fort Lauderdale. Have you ever been in Fort Lauderdale, Tony, gambling?
Fort Lauderdale gambling? No, I've been to Fort Lauderdale, but not for gambling.
Yeah,
I have gambled in Bratislava and in Panama City. Bratislava is a very tiny European country, and it felt a little weird because there's like these big thug Russian dudes at the door blocking your exit.
Yeah.
I don't think I won anything on that trip.
Yeah, Vegas is better.
The odds are really the most favorable in Vegas of anywhere I've been. Yep. Cruises suck. Puerto Rico sucks. But
Indian reservations.
Huh?
What about Indian reservations?
No, the odds are better here.
Yeah, I don't know. Mohegan Sun is on my list of places to go see, but I have not gambled on an Indian reservation yet.
Yeah.
And you've been to North Dakota, right? There's plenty there.
Well, I lived in North Dakota as a Ute, but I haven't been there to gamble. No.
Oh.
It depends on the game, Sufjan. The odds are different per game. Most odds are best in Vegas, though.
Are you gonna play with Scarlett poker in Vegas?
Poker?
Yeah.
All the odds are loosest in Vegas of pretty much anywhere, and off the strip better than on the strip.
Yeah. Poker, unfortunately, has they've lost a lot of the poker houses here ever since the pandemic. The casinos don't make that much money from them, so they've closed a lot of them down, unfortunately.
And the inflation has hit a lot in Vegas, I've heard, right?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It used to be really cheap, right? Like you said.
Yeah, I mean, before inflation, a 2-bedroom apartment was like $1,200. Now it's about $1,600.
Wow.
So it's a lot because the raises didn't reflect in Vegas. So it has hurt people a lot here.
Steven, on my best night in craps, I probably had $500 minimum on every number on the craps table and $100 chips on all the hard ways every roll. That's how sick the money was flowing. Yeah, we were like taking $1,000 chip and putting it in our pockets every 15 minutes.
Wow. The hard ways, for anyone that doesn't know, is an extremely risky bet. It's like you're betting for a specific outcome on the dice that's thrown, and it's low probability but high payout.
Yeah, if you've got $100 chip on the hard 6 and it hits, that's like a $1,000 payout.
Yeah.
And if they don't roll a 6, 2 3s, then you just lost $100 on that roll, and you've got to re-up your money.
Yeah, craps is crazy. You can turn 2 into 200 very easily in craps if you have a hot shooter, like you said.
My favorite time was watching this Arab guy come down in his bathrobe with a suitcase full of chips, and he put $1,000 on every number as soon as he walked up. Like, didn't even read the table. Load up everything, and then the first roll, the shooter crapped out.
Oh,
He's like, load them up again. Craps. Load them up again. Craps. Okay, have a nice day, sir. He left. I was like, what are you doing? Like, I wish that money was no object, that you could just walk up to a table and load up every number and hope on luck. But that rarely works out in craps. You got to find the right table, find the right people, and then be there long enough for a good shooter. It's very rare you can walk up and get lucky.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult stuff. I mean, it's still much better odds than putting your money on a slot machine.
It is literally the best odds in the house if you just play the pass line and be patient.
Yeah.
It's boring as fuck sometimes for a couple of hours. I've sat at a craps table for 8 hours not making money, but if you're on a $25 table, that will guarantee you a free 3-night stay next time you come.
Yep.
Even if you don't make money, just betting 25 a hand.
What about horse race? Are you good into that?
I mean, I like to go to the horse races, but I've never gambled on them in Vegas.
Never Kentucky Derby or anything.
And
like that?
I've never made money on. I mean, I've never made more than $100 betting on horse races. Most of the time, I lose. Not my strong suit.
We should do a Kentucky Derby on the live stream someday.
Look, if you guys want to know sports betting or horse betting, Steven is the man.
I know way too much stuff about.
Get to know this guy. Talk your way into his Discord. He made some people some money. Sufjan, did you make some money?
On the UFC, last year. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How much did you make?
Like $60.
Oh, I thought it was like 6,000.
No, that was another guy. That was another guy.
That was Fear of God, and hit like a 50 to 1 in our Discord, and what was his name? Fizzle. It did well too. UFC is like my specialty, guys. I'm obsessed with it. I sports bet it, and we do stocks.
We're gonna have a good party for the UFC 280. Tony, are you gonna join us, or it's in 2 weeks? Oliveira against Islam Makhachev, main event. And
am I going to join you where?
On the Discord.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Makhachev is actually the favorite, but Oliveira beat Poirier, he beat Gaethje, he beat Chandler, which are beasts, right? But he's the underdog, so it's gonna be interesting to see if Oliveira is gonna win or not. I don't know if I'm gonna be betting on that though, but there's also Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yep.
I thought you meant, am I gonna join you in person?
Now that fight's in Dubai.
Yeah, but we're gonna live stream it it's gonna be at night though.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, send me let me know who I need to bet on.
Well,
Jeffrey says there's a lot of casinos here in Phoenix. It's been a long time, Jeffrey, since I've been to Phoenix. I would like to come back. That's a great town. I was married at one time, and she had a conference in Phoenix, so I just got to come hang out there. And I forget which one it was, but great city. Like to come back. Maybe we can take Scarlett out there next year. We got a trip to Nashville coming up in a few weeks, maybe Vegas in December. Sufjan, are you going to come visit for that?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
What are you doing in December?
What am I doing in December?
Yep.
Well, I have 3 free nights at the the Venetian that I got to use before December 20th or something.
Oh, nice.
Just
But
tell me 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So
All right. Well, we haven't planned it yet. I just got over the sticker shock of paying for Nashville. So give me a few weeks to get over that. I don't like spending money.
yeah.
You need more money for APE, you know?
Yes. I just sent more money to my broker too. So get ready for next week's buys. Maybe something will hit here in the next couple of weeks.
And you still buy crypto too, right? Every week.
Yeah, but I've slowed down on the crypto
Yeah,
buys because
I do. It's just slow too.
I feel like the stock market is giving me more compelling buy opportunities right now.
Let me ask you this real quick on crypto. I remember you described a time, I think it was last year, where you started picking up on Bitcoin right before
Yep.
it started running up again. At what bottom do you think we would be looking for on Bitcoin? Is it like 15K or?
So I got really lucky in 2021. Let me pull up the chart again. Right after AMC ran, crypto was crashing. Remember that?
Yep.
And it took a little bit of guts, but in July, when crypto fell down to like 30,000, I went big. This was in my LLC account, so I couldn't buy crypto, but I took some of my money that I earned from options on AMC in June, and I bought Bitcoin and Ethereum in July at 30,000 Bitcoin was. And then as it ran up to 52,000, I was selling that off slowly.
Wow.
So it was gut wrenching after watching crypto fall from 60,000 to 30 and hitting the buy button. Right? No one wants to buy stuff when you see it fall 50%, but I practice what I preach, right?
That bottom was 28,000, it looks like.
Yeah, I was buying it as it was falling, but I started buying in the 30s all the way down probably to my last purchase was 29, 30,000. And then I sold it in brackets as it ran up after that. But I don't know where the bottom is now. 19,000 could easily get us to 15 if a market crash comes into play. 15 or 10. That's why I'm taking off the gas a little bit on adding crypto. I'm not stopping buying, but I'm not like fully loading the boat because we could still drop another 50% from here.
Never load the boat. 101 rule.
Never load the boat.
Never.
Tech We Love says crypto is a joke. Companies are real, right? I mean, that's kind of my thinking. I believe in crypto long term, but I know stocks and companies are not going anywhere. And we have a basis for valuing them. Crypto, I'm not bearish on crypto. I think crypto is going to be around for a long time, but what is the ultimate value?
What about NFTs?
The only NFTs I have are the ones AMC gave me for free.
Yeah.
All right. Piece of arts. You have any piece of arts?
Do I have any piece of arts? No.
Okay.
I heard some YouTuber was selling fractional shares of an art company though.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No. Al from Boston.
Keep going. I want to hear who's your top three.
Yeah, give me your top three, Sufjan.
Lou. No.
Wait, what
Okay.
was
You're in the wrong tier.
Piece of arts.
Piece of art?
Yeah. Trey. Was it Trey?
Yeah, it was Trey.
It was Trey.
He did a promotion on that.
Yeah.
Woo.
Ellie says, do you think the majority will vote for APE to be converted to AMC in the future? Trying to decide what I should buy on Monday, APE or AMC.
I mean, that's the big unknown, Ellie. I think that AMC is going to make a strong pitch at some point in the future to say, for simplicity's sake, we want to bring everything back home into one ticker.
Yeah, I think they're
whether or not the majority will vote for it, I don't know. I mean, I think that half the owners of APE will also be owners of AMC, and they will be ambivalent about it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know a year or two from now what the ownership of APE versus AMC is going to look like. I know there's a lot of shills and trolls trying to paint the case right now. Oh, a year from now, all the owners of APE are going to be institutions and they're not going to vote to dilute. Well, why would they buy APE then? All right. What's your case for why they're going to buy it to not vote to convert it?
Yeah, per the diluted earnings per share, right?
Finish the story, bro. Don't just give us the ending. Why are they buying it then? So they can vote not to convert it and make it worthless? Great story.
I see a lot of Zip Trader out there on the comments. What's going on with Zip Trader?
Maybe they were thinking he was selling the fractional art thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch Charlie. I don't watch Charlie anymore. I used to watch him before I started my channel, but I'm not joking when I say I don't have time to watch so many people anymore. And just for my own sanity, I don't watch that many people.
Isn't GTII done? I mean, for the most part, when I look
based on my chart read, it's either in consolidation or done, depending on if you're bullish or realist. It's the price has been stagnant on several days of declining volume. For me, that's a bearish signal. But if I want to be a little bit optimistic for those holding it, it could be consolidation, but you should be very careful about the volume continuing to decline and keep a close eye on that, because that is not good.
Was there anyone who called it out under $2?
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah. I think Lou started calling it before $1, and clearly CSI was calling it 6-8 months ago when it was under $1.
AMC Bigums just said, "Damn, you're up late, Tony."
Yeah.
Man, Bigums, Scarlett working night shift has got me all screwed up. We were watching TV till 4 or 5 in the morning last night. If you guys have been wondering why I haven't been up live streaming at 8:30, you can blame Scarlett. I'm trying to convince her to get back on a job where she has normal hours, because she's fucking up my sleep schedule.
I want to say something to AMC Bigums if he's here. I just want to say thank you, man. You know, me and Tony, and we've been preaching fundamentals for a long time. And when I heard you go on Trey's channel and gave the analogy of Billy and that whole thing, I think you really brought light to the importance of improving the company. And on that grand scale, it's widely appreciated, man.
I also heard Bigums today. I listened to him. I heard him say, "Guys, the market's going down. Of course we're going down." I like that he is a realist in that sense too. Even though people on Twitter hate us, Bigums, you know.
It is what it is.
I like your style. I like your style. Sleep is for the weak, Dan. We can sleep when we're dead. We ain't got. Oh, by the way, I did go out and touch some grass today in the front yard. Not what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, Tony, you're not sleeping at all.
I'm not sleeping. I am not sleeping much. I'm more like taking what's the word? Scheduled naps. Unscheduled naps. Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
How many hours do you sleep a day though? Like 4 hours?
I mean, on a normal day, I'd go to sleep around 2 a.m. and wake up around 4 or 6 a.m. to check pre-market.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then when the market closes at 3, if I'm dragging, I'll take an hour or 2 nap. But that was all when Scarlett had a normal work schedule and she got home at 6 o'clock. I had time to take a nap. Now it's like she's going to work at 6 in the evening, getting home at 6 a.m. And on her days off, she wants me to stay up watching movies or whatever till 4 or 5 in the morning because she can't sleep. I'm like, I fought it for a while, but it's slowly becoming my schedule now. This is not good. This is not good for trading. This is not a good trading lifestyle. Unless I need to start trading in Shanghai market or something.
Do you feel like you really need to go to bed earlier and wake up about
No,
like 4
I mean,
a.m.?
I'm not sleepy at all right now. That's the problem. But I know that like I need to wake up at 4 in the morning to watch pre-market on Monday. This is not healthy. Like I'm going to sleep when pre-market is open. I'm missing plays.
Yeah.
Are you focusing specifically on pre-market because of plays like this GTII? Like you're looking for runners?
Well, I mean, a lot of plays are moving in pre-market and then they're dead by the time the market opens. So,
Gotcha.
But you're trying to ride the wave and get out. But you need to be in the pre-market. You need to be on the
pre-market. If you can be up that
pre-market.
early and you have a Webull account, there aren't many of the brokers that are open at 4 a.m., but Webull will let you trade really early. And sometimes, not all the time, sometimes you can make money on those plays, or sometimes they only pop in the first 10 minutes of pre-market opening. There's been times where I woke up 30 minutes after trading started on Webull and the play was already over. And I was holding it from the night before.
The $1 million question.
That happens a lot.
The $1 million question for you both. I start with you, Steven, but after that, Tony. But
okay.
Do you think you can make a living on catching those runners at 4 a.m.?
Can you make a living day trading? Is really what you're saying?
No, just ride the wave and get out after like 10 or an hour or even 20 minutes open after the market open. Can you make a living?
I think the people you're referring to are in the very small minority of traders. You're talking 5%. The top 5% of traders that really know what they're doing can, but majority, most people know.
The second follow on to that is, what is your standard of living?
Yeah.
Let's make supporting your family or yourself.
I mean, I think to make that doable, you got to have a sizable account to start with, because you need to have room for mistakes. So probably you need to be starting with 50 to 100,000 and, putting several percent of your portfolio at play every trade and hoping that over 50% of them are profitable. But for people starting with $1,000 or $2,000, no, you're going to go broke, because you're going to be over betting too much of your account, and 1 or 2 of those plays going against you in a row and you're done.
It's kind of like in blackjack at the casino. Like the longer you're at the table, the more they got you, and you have to have, like Tony said, you have to have enough money to withstand the losses, because if you can't, you're just going to get tapped out. Same thing in the casino. So you have to be able to, because eventually it'll come your way and you'll start doing better. But if you don't have the capital, you're toast.
You got to have the capital to build up the experience, right? If you're new and you're starting with a small amount and you're betting for home runs every time, the odds are going to take you out of the game faster than you can learn how to do it.
Yep.
Great.
Unless you're extremely lucky.
So
how many people have we seen make a fuck ton on one play and then lose it all over the next 6 months? I've seen a bunch. Most people do that.
It's because when easy come, easy go, like when you get it easy, you overspend or something.
But if you're not greedy, if you just, like Pam was saying, I just want to make enough for lunch money. If you take a little bit and you're happy to make $100, $300, you know, off of, I mean, there were days last year where I was spending $10,000 on a day trade and it wouldn't fucking move the entire day. And I'd be lucky to get out at the end of the day and make $100. That is annoying as hell. And then there's days where you spend $1,000 and watch a stock run up $10 and you make $10,000 in a day. You just never know.
And sometimes, Sufjan, it's simply just not worth the stress. Like Tony said, like you may not be working hard, but mentally it's not worth it to me for that $100 to risk that kind of money.
Yeah, and on those $10,000 plays, I was not green the entire day. I was watching it like ping pong. Oh, you're down 2,000. You're.
But would you guys agree? There's always at 4 a.m. There's always like, maybe not at 4 a.m. but at the beginning, there's always few stars and there's always one star, a big star that runs up crazy every day.
Not every day, but many days.
Many days.
Yeah.
So
there's people that do their entire career and they're in pre-market and they're done before the market opens. There are absolutely people like that, but not most cannot do that. No.
So some people actually make a living. Yeah.
Can you get to that point? Yes. If you know how to manage risk and get in and get out, sure you can.
Mm-hmm. You just got to be really careful. Like one bad trade can mess up 10 good ones, you know? So like, that's what I'm saying. You got to really understand, is it worth the risk? It's all risk versus reward. If you can like withstand that, then it can be for you. But for me personally, I get a lot of anxiety in those situations. So
yeah, you have no control. But if it's kind of like riding the wave and you get out, but it's a very dangerous play.
I think the biggest problem people make is if they start with a small amount and they double their money or 5x their money, then the next play they go all in on the next one.
All in, yeah, they lose it all.
And you got to keep your bets at a percentage of your overall portfolio
risk
and just
management.
do that for a while till you have the experience. Don't keep doubling down. That's like you hit black on the roulette table and you parlay and you do that 5 times in a row. What are the chances you're going to get blown out?
High.
Yeah, almost
high.
100%.
Yeah. There's a reason those payouts are high, because your chance of getting blown out is high.
But if you bet 10% of your portfolio every hand, your chances of staying in the game longer are much greater.
Well, let me rephrase my question now.
All right.
So I was talking about the pre-market.
Yeah.
But some people make a living of just coming, let's say Central Time, they come around 2:50 and they trade at 2:50 because there's a lot of traders that goes out, right? You know what I mean? At 2:50, there's only 10 minutes left in the day.
I've never tried that strategy. I've heard professionals say that the bulk of the trading happens when the market opens and at the end of the day, and they just take the middle of the day off. But for me, mostly because I'm live streaming or watching stocks during the day, I'm usually mentally exhausted by 2:50. I've never tried that strategy of just showing up at 2:50 every day. I like to watch the ebb and flow and see what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? Pantheon's in the chat.
Pantheon, what is up, amigo? Good evening. What is it, like about 7 p.m. in Canada, Pantheon?
But Sufjan, those are all really good questions about day trading. You know, in a bull market like we've recently experienced, I think a lot of people can make a lot of good money. But in these kinds of times, I think day trading's pretty dangerous. Unless you're playing the downside, of course, right? If you're willing to do that, that's a little different.
Jeffrey says AB does pre-market, then goes to sleep. Sometimes I'll wake up, Jeffrey, and I'll check pre-market and I'll if nothing's really popping, I'll at least update the Discord if I'm up that early about what is looking good. And if it's not looking great, or if I'm worried about like a economic report at 8:30, I will go back to sleep. Sometimes I'll stay up and trade, but I rarely go on live for pre-market.
We've had a couple messages on Discord around 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the past.
Oh yeah. Anytime I'm up, I'll be letting you know. Lately, if I'm messaging at 4 a.m., that's right before I go to sleep.
You got to start sleeping more.
I know. I don't know how we're going to fix this if Scarlett doesn't change jobs.
Is she working graveyard?
She's working like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. 5 a.m.
Whoa, that's rough.
Well, that's night
really
shifts.
hard.
That's
Wow.
hard.
That's
And how does she handle the schedule right now?
She comes home from work, lets the dogs out, feeds the rabbits, and then sleeps till about an hour before she has to go to work, which is
Wow.
fine. You know, that's fine, but it's her days off when she has 3 days off in a row where she does the same schedule and then wants me to stay up with her till 6 a.m.
Graveyard's so hard. I did it for a couple of years and it really messed up my health, to be honest. Like, it's not for everyone.
I think I just about have her convinced to switch jobs, so I'll let y'all know later this week. Even though she just switched, but
yeah, I mean, gonna do what's best for you and your family and your
this
health.
is not tenable. This is not tenable.
Or you stick it out long enough to get on swing shift, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how many shifts they have available.
It's not appropriate for your trading schedule.
Yes.
You gotta try to explain it for her.
It's costing me money.
It's getting in the way of AMC, so we're gonna have to change that.
If you want me to keep you in the lifestyle you've become accustomed to, you need to change shifts.
Yeah.
Grave's tough.
I'm just teasing. I don't give her any money. She pays her own way. All right, so we got Jeffrey Roche in the house. Pantheon Bigums was in here. Lucy in the Sky, aka Liz Clayman's Whistle. We just about got a full house. The only one we're missing is Matt Lorian. He must be off to some Rhode Island hijinks tonight.
We're reaching to 4 hours. It's pretty good.
That's a long
one. we probably should call this.
Yep.
I told Scarlett about 5 hours ago I was just going to live stream till she came home from the grocery store. 5 hours later, we're still here, but I do want to thank you guys for hanging out on a Saturday sleepless in Seattle night. What should we do a video about tomorrow? You guys got any topics, burning topics you need me to cover?
What's the latest FUD? What's the latest BS?
Latest FUD I saw on Twitter was stop buying AMC and APE because you're just buying synthetics. It's like recycled FUD from Lou 2021, but somehow it's made it to the Twitter influencers. Like some of the most vocal are now saying stop buying APE. We hate Adam Aaron. Adam Aaron, we deserve an answer, Adam Aaron. Where's the checkmate? Where's the pounce? Like, you guys, he's not going to tell you anything in the middle of a share offering 30 days before an earnings announcement. So chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
You've been holding this long. I think you can wait a couple more weeks. All right. You're not doing anybody any favors with your shilly little attitude. You're wearing your emotions on a sleeve, and we don't appreciate it.
I'll keep buying the synthetics, you know, like
right. That's what I've always
Broker's
said.
problem,
Like,
not mine.
sell me those synthetics, baby.
Yeah, that's a broker issue. Not
The,
a,
the best way to get a short squeeze is to let them load us full of synthetics.
right.
If they exist.
Well, they say they exist because you can't
Yeah.
trust Ortex, and there's billions of synthetics. So the more synthetic, if they truly believe that, I mean, the best way to get a massive short squeeze is to have billions of synthetics and billions of short interest. But they want you to DRS so nobody can short, and they want you to stop buying. Like everything that will not make a short squeeze, they want you to do now.
Yeah, says the guy who has a spreadsheet, right?
Oh, and don't buy options either because we don't want any gamma squeeze.
They're just
Oh, yeah.
overcomplicating everything. Like the simple, what Occam's razor, the simple solution is the most likely solution.
I'm going to stick with Roaring Kitty's plan.
Yeah.
You know, I liked it a year and a half ago. Still like it now.
Yeah, GameStop completely overhauled its fundamentals, and then Reddit piled in. It's that simple. You don't got to go into deep Reddit forums, to know what happened there.
Ellie says, what happens though if they continue shorting APE so Adam Aaron can't dilute and pay off the debt? At some point, Ellie, I do not believe in infinite shorts, first of all. If you believe there are infinite synthetics, infinite shorts, then you have already lost, right? If you believe that they can print infinite synthetics, why are you in a play?
Yeah.
You're admitting defeat.
Worth it. Like the market's too rigged at that point.
Right? Exactly. If you believe that, you should not be in the stock market. I do not believe there is infinite anything. At some point, the dam is going to burst. Whether the short interest is what's shown on Ortex or some number greater than that, I don't really give a fuck. At some point, when a catalyst or good news happens, or the market corrects, or the Fed stops raising interest rates, at some point, when things go up, the shorts are going to get wrecked. The only way we lose is by the company going bankrupt. So if you think the company's going bankrupt, get out of the play. If you don't, well, you might want to hold to just wait and see what happens. Is there going to be volatility? Is the stock going to go up and down? Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Yep. Welcome to stocks.
Yep. I think it's a 1-2 punch. He's going to drop some good news and then he'll raise capital, Like Tony says, I think he's a conservative CEO. That's the most obvious thing. I mean, that for him to do. So I see that as happening.
I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to all the clickbait and the crazy theories. I don't need all that to know why I hold this company. I'm just going to keep on talking common sense and like the basics, the fundamentals. I'm like your high school football coach. We're going to talk about fundamentals, not any crazy plays.
Just keep running the football, Tony.
Yep. Just keep running. We're not going to keep on going for Hail Marys.
Or no spreadsheet with crazy formulas with FTDs.
Oh, man.
But you know what? Every now and then a Hail Mary might be thrown because the play just develops that way. And if that happens, we'll fucking take it.
Right.
We always hope for a Hail Mary, but we're not planning our schedule for the year around Hail Marys.
Let me ask you something. Another $1 million question.
Oh God. I
start with you, Tony, this time. How many times lately have you been hoping to wake up with a crazy, crazy pre-market on
every fucking day? Every day. Every day. I'm not kidding. Every day I wake up thinking this could be the day that the market takes off, or at least a couple stocks that I've been buying the dips on take off. Every day. I'm an optimist, despite what you guys think.
That's unhealthy.
I am an optimist.
That's bad for your mental health to do that.
But you know what? If today's not the day, I don't like punch my pillow and kick my dog. I don't go on Twitter and tell Adam Aaron to demand, I demand an answer.
I need a share count.
Yeah.
And you, Steven, how
Do
many
I-
days have you been hoping in the morning, waking up, looking at the pre-market and looking at AMC having crazy pre-market?
0. I don't even check the
0.
price. Nope. Don't even check
No.
it. Now,
Wait,
obviously,
you don't wake up thinking that it's going to be crazy?
no, never.
Wow.
No.
I'm surprised to hear that.
No.
Now I'm feeling a little emotional. Like maybe
Yeah,
I need to,
I feel like
maybe
you're
I
getting
need to check
emotional on me.
myself.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, like if the discords are going crazy, now I'm like, all right, now I should probably check, or if I see an AMC press release, to be honest, I just go to Webull, I hit the news button, and I see if there's something there. If there's not, then there's not,
Yeah, every day I usually like flip it. One day I'll wake up and check the Discord to see if it's like blowing up,
Yeah.
and the next day I'll just check Webull or whatever stock ticker. One of these days we're gonna wake up and what, Tony? I heard you on camera. It's fucking blowing up.
Yeah, I mean, if AMC is trading at 10 to 20% higher in the pre-market, you're going to hear it from everyone. At this point, everyone and their mom knows about AMC. So no one's going to miss the run. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. And if I oversleep till 10 a.m., I'm not worried I'm going to miss it. So
no.
Remember you were told, oh, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. That's going to sound.
You can't do that.
No, I'm going to be nice.
Okay.
You're not going to miss it. Don't worry. It's going to last long enough that you will be fine. Just if you're out of the country or on, deep sea fishing, take a satellite phone. That's all I'm going to say. You might miss it in that case. You want to be around for a day or two. You need to be in touch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that, Sufjan, and it stresses them out. That's an easy way to get stressed out about any stock.
Wake up and think like AMC's gonna fucking blow every.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't blame Tony. I'm like that too, to be honest.
You
Every morning,
day?
I hope AMC's gonna blow up in the morning.
Yeah, that's not good.
But that being said, Sufjan, even though I wake up every morning hoping that, I don't have any known catalysts right now that I expect, like, based on the number of synthetics sold on FTD's 44 million, APE being sold privately on auction at $40 a share through Citigroup. No, I don't wake up thinking any of that. It's just like
it's an unknown. It's just an unknown catalyst.
Is today the day of the unknown catalyst?
Yeah,
that's
me
all
too. Me too. I don't give. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Ken Griffin got arrested overnight. You just never know.
Something unknown. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, Tony, but if you add up all the FTDs over the course of a month, you get the share price.
If what?
If you add up all the FTDs for the month, you get the share price.
Hey, Stephen, I don't know if I got to ask you this, and I don't know if you've heard any of my thesis, but no, let's just end it on a high note.
All right, we'll end it.
No, I'll talk about it in the Discord.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it a night. Happy Saturday, happy Sunday. 2:00 here in Texas. So we're going to call it a night. If you guys got any hot topics you want me to talk about on a video on Sunday, hit me up in the chat right now or leave a comment after this video is over. Sufjan and Steven, thank you for jumping in tonight. Liz Clayman, Pam, Javi, Mike, Jeffrey, Pantheon, Bigums, all of the members of the channel, those of you at the badges next to your name, thank you, each and every one of you, for your support. To all the trolls and shills and haters, we love you anyways. Nobody's telling anybody to buy, hold, or sell. Do what the fuck you want. Yep. We're just here talking about all sorts of stocks that we love. Avoid clickbait. Avoid, for sure, people that only talk about FTDs cost to borrow, or what was the other one? Short interest.
Yep.
If that's the only thing they're talking about, run the fuck away, or at least know in your mind that it's a momentum trade. Get in early, get the fuck out. Stephen and Sufyan, I'll let you guys do the closing comments.
Go ahead, Sufyan.
Well, guys, first of all, it was a very, very nice hangout with you both, and hope we had a great discussion for the community and for the people that are watching. And my only say that I would say is that like we're in a bear market, and just the biggest word right now is just survive. Everybody needs to survive, and everybody's feeling the same way. Nobody's fucking winning or beating the market at this time. Everybody's getting some pain. So just survive, hang on, and we'll be fine. Spring will come.
Yep.
Stephen, any final thoughts? Any parting thoughts?
Don't stress yourself out. It's just a stock. The stock doesn't know that you own it. Okay. And, we're going to have our day. And as long as AMC is improving, we're doing the right thing, and we're all together as a community. Don't let it stress you out, and, go to the movies. That's all I got to say. I'm out.
Cold-blooded and emotionless.
There you
Go
go.
see a movie, buy some concessions.
That's right.
Peace out.
See ya.
Good night, guys.